I'm amazing. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Oh, what the hell? Oh, he killed me.
I'm getting brutally slaughtered.
No, that was an accident. No, that was an accident. That was an accident. Oh, was that a triple collapse? Get up! No! Ah! No! Get up! Get up! No! Oh! No! Somebody this happened to me. Oh! What did I do? It's an accident. Oh, what? What? Why? Why? What? I hate this game. I freaking hate this game. Oh, I fell. I did the water bucket thing. I did the water bucket thing.
Nice.
Don't touch him. No!
Last Pokemon left, and our full team still with us. The nerves were high, but seeing that it was a Torkoal gave us some relief.
Torkoal. I changed to the wrong guy. Hydro pump the hell out of him. Let's go!
Just like that, we defeated the champion of the Hoenn region in our first ever Pokemon Nuzlocke.
Okay. Hey. Let me press buttons. I'm always so dumb. Oh. Anyway, what's up? What's up, guys? What's up, Nathan? How are you? Look, I've added a blur button. I'm gonna work on it, but I'm basically gonna make it so that like when I go full cam like this, the background is blurred. It feels more professional, right? You're good? You're okay? Okay. Yeah, no new emotes yet. There's one more spot for a new emote. My emote guy is working on it. He takes some time though. He's always a bit slow on it, but I think his emotes are great. It's worth it. Oh, you know what's not worth it though? This thing. My heater broke. My freaking heater broke. So I'm like stuck. Oh. I'm trying to make this perfect, but you see the little... It's not perfect. Whatever. It is what it is. I spend way too much time on that type of stuff. But today we're going to do a tier list of the cutest Pokemon of Gen 2. We're going to go through about half of them. And maybe tomorrow or sometime this week, we'll do the last half of them. And yeah, that's about it. That's it. I've added the blur thing, which is cool, but gotta work on adding it, making it better. And yeah. So without further ado, I guess let's get started. Yeah? Where's my boutons? More cute list? Yes. Tomorrow we'll probably go to something else, but for now, yes. Let's start the YouTube video. What's up, guys? This is part 1 of the cutest Pokemon of Generation 2 tier list. If you haven't watched the first generation tier lists, check them out first. And without further ado, let's get started. Ugh. Look at all them Pokemons. Okay. Stupid advertisements. Okay. We got cute, pretty cute, average, and ugly. So, yeah. Oh, I don't have an echo button here. I'm gonna add an echo button real quick. Ooh, you watch Tokyo Revengers? Do you like it? I love Tokyo Revengers. Let me add an echo button real quick. First Pokemon, Oh, wait. Let me just add the fast zoom in. Should I add slow zoom in? Okay. This looks fine. Let's see. First Pokemon, Apom. Apom he's a monkey. So I want to put him up because monkeys are awesome. But he's not that cute. So I would probably put him in like average. He's like almost pretty cute. Like he's a decent looking monkey, you know? He has that weird hand, like the guy from One Piece. I don't know. But yeah. Next we got Ampharos. Ampharos is cool. Cool looking. Not so much cute looking. I'm gonna put him in pretty cute because of his face. I don't know what it is about his face, but his face just looks really cute to me. Like it's just circular. What I've discovered is that circular features make things look cute. At least Pokemon look cute. You know, that's not like things, not like people, but yeah. Okay, next we got Ariados. I went ding in the manga and the video I sent, and I can confirm that I had no spoilers. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the video you sent has no spoilers from the first season, yeah? I really like Tokyo Revengers. Bro has a clock kink? What? Who has a clock kink? Me? Do I have clocks around here? What you talking about? But how you doing, doctor? My heater broke, so my hands are freezing right now. Yeah. Anyway, next, Pokémon. We got Ariados, which literally looks like a tarantula. Like, when you realize that it looks like a freaking tarantula, you gotta put that Pokemon a little bit lower, you know? Gotta put it at, like, eh. Yeah, it's still not ugly. A lot of second-gen Pokemon actually don't look ugly, surprisingly. So that's cool. Because it's a circle. Oh. I guess I do like clocks. They do look cool. Anyway. Next, Pokemon. We got Azumarill. Azumarill's pretty cute. It looks like an egg. I don't want to put it at super cute or like the cute tier because it just doesn't look that cute. Do you know what I mean? Is it just me? I don't know. He looks kind of like... It just looks bleh. Like, it looks cute with circular eyes and the bunny ears, but something... I think it's too egg-shaped, and my head is egg-shaped, so I relate, but not in a good way. So, yeah, I think it's fair there. Too bad you're not in a place that made it warmer like Cali. Yeah. What's the degrees right now in Cali? Next Pokemon, we got some Bayleaf. Who hates Bayleaf? Bayleaf is a literal leaf. Okay, we gotta put Bayleaf in pretty cute, possibly cute tier. Like, it's a really cute Pokemon. I don't know. I think it deserves that spot. It just looks like a cutie. Sounds so weird to say out loud, but it looks cute. You know? Next we got what's his name? Blossom. Blossom's very cute too. It looks like a Hawaiian dancer or something. I think it's fair to put him there. Put him there. 51 degrees? Oh, that's actually very warm, yeah. Next, we got Chikorita. Also deserves a spot in the very cute list. A head that's kind of shaped like an egg, but she makes it work. Even though she has a literal leaf on top of her head. I don't know why it's like a super cute Pokemon. Maybe even cuter than its evolution. We'll put it for here for now. Next, we got Chinchou. Okay, Chinchou just sucks. Chinchou literally just has 2 pluses for eyes. Like, why? Why did they make this Pokemon? Look at its eyes. It's literally 2 pluses. But, you know, if it didn't have 2 pluses for eyes, I would put it higher. I would say it's pretty average. I mean, these Pokemon are actually, like, really good looking. Sounds really weird to say, but they're, like, good looking Pokemon, you know? In my opinion. 54 in Arizona, take L. Take I. What? Damn, it's warm by you guys. Next, we got Cleffa. Cleffa got that weird-ass thing, like Clefable and stuff that I was talking about in other videos, but like, look at its head. Got that squirrely thing on its head. I'd say average. Its brown ears, I don't really like either. And I'm not racist or anything. It's just, I'm brown, so it's okay. I could say it. Don't worry, guys. Yeah, I think it deserves the average. Maybe even both, like, low average over here. Next, we got Crobat. Crobat is a looking guy. He looks really cool, but not cute. I would even argue that, like, Golbat and Zubat look cuter than Crobat, but Crobat looks cool. I think almost ugly here. With all the pointiness and its face is like, I don't know, it just looks weird. Oh, cold is it in New York City? Yes, it is cold in New York City. I think it's cold because it's cold. Well, because it's like, because the heater's not working, so it's just... And I'm in the basement. Next, Pokemon, we got Croconacaca. Croconacaca looks pretty cute. Almost very cute tier. Looks like a little baby. But I don't know what it is about its face. It just looks too much like, you know? So I have to leave it at pretty cute, I think. Why are you brawling me? Okay. Cyndaquil is actually so cute. Look at those eyes. Those are like the cutest eyes I've ever seen in my life. In my life. Okay, but it's like pretty cute. You know what I mean? At least in my humble opinion. I think Cyndaquil is pretty cute. So we gotta put him up there amongst the others. Also got those chicken thigh legs, which are always nice to see. That was really weird to say out loud, but it's true. I think Bayleaf might not be as cute the more I think about it. Okay, next Pokémon, we got Espione. Espione is really cool looking, almost cute, but it has that like eyes that it would like do something with you, if you know what I mean. If you were a Pokemon, and since it's a Pokemon, it would do like some sexy times with you, and yeah, it would just be a lot of fun, if you know what I mean. Like it just looks into your eyes like it's gonna do something crazy. So yeah, I think it's not cute per se. Maybe pretty cute. Low tier of pretty cute, I think, is fair. We got Feraligatr. Feraligatr is a literal alligator. Like, you just look at them. You got them big mouth. It just looks like an alligator. So, that's a pretty cute looking alligator, though. So, I'll say he's average also. I'll say he's like average. I think that's fair. He got the weird looking arms that look as flat as a piece of paper. I don't know. So, no, what did I do? What did I do that was wrong? Fluffy is pretty cute. I mean, anything that's fluffy is pretty cute, and Fluffy is fluffy. The black and pink tail is really weird to me. It doesn't look cute or cool. It just looks out of place. So, if you guys can see that. And his... Jesus. And his tail, like, looks cool, but... Yeah, I would put him maybe, like, over here. Pretty cute. Pretty cute looking Pokemon. Next, we got Ferret. Must I say anything else? Furries are cute. So we gotta put it up there. The cute list right here. Ferret all the way. Exactly. What's up, Rusent? How are ya? The Espeon? Oh. I mean, Espeon looks sexy, not cute. Oh, it sounds so weird to say. It's a literal Pokemon. I'm doing good. Just rating the cutest Pokemon of Gen 2, Part 1. So it's going pretty good. So my hands are freezing because... Wow, indeed. My hands are freezing because the heater went down at home, but aside from that, it's all good. And I added a blur effect. So I think that's kind of cool. I want to play around with it a little more, so it kind of fades into the blur and other stuff, but I'm going to have to look into that. That's sus. It is sus. Next, we got Galarian Slowking. He just looks stupid. He just looks stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. You're the first ugly Pokemon here. You know what I've realized? I've realized that when we don't have, like, alternate form Pokemon, the rating is not that bad. When we have, like, Galarian form, we have Alolan, all these other stuff, the rating kind of gets skewed, like, in a large way. At least for today, we have, like, one ugly Pokemon. And there's not many alternate forms for second-gen Pokemon, so, yeah. Next, we got Hoot Hoot. It's just a cute-looking bird with them weird legs. I mean, I don't know what it is with weird legs. Hello there. But, yeah. Hey, Hunter, what's up? How are you? Long time no see. No bestiality. But they're not animals. They're Pokemon. So it's okay. How you doing, Hunter? Hoot Hoot. You know, got that Hooters. It works at Hooters. You got that Hooter look. Yeah. I just thought of that one right now. To be honest. Anyway, I think Hoot Hoot would be like average looking. It's like, why does it have orange eyes like it's freaking like never getting sleep? And this weird ass like looking one leg like 5 different. I don't know. It's just a weird looking Pokemon. But because it's a circle, I'm gonna put it in average, I guess. You would F old animals? Nice. I mean, what? No, that's bestiality. That's illegal, Hunter. It's illegal. I always try to find excuses to use the echo button. It's not okay. It's based off animals. That's true. That's true. Not all of them. We have Pokemon based off ice cream. But yeah. Today was biceps and core, and I need you to come cuddle with me and tell me that feeling like a floppy noodle is a good thing. Bro, I got you. I'll be right there. Let me go cuddle with Hunter real quick. It's okay, baby. Yeah. It's a-okay. Alright, next we got Hoppip. It's just a Hoppip. Hoppips are pretty cute. Jesus Christ, I just noticed its eyes is just yellow. What the hell's going on with those eyes? I'll put Hoppip like at... I wanted to put it at all the way cute, but I'm gonna say... you know, top of average. Its eyes just freak me out. I'm happy you feel better now, Hunter. How's work? How's life? How's exercising with the muscles, bro? Igglypuff is pretty cute. It's the things coming out of its head actually look good for once. It doesn't look like an abnormality as it does for like Clefable and other Pokemon, I feel. So, you know, it looks like it'll just jump into your arms. It also has the Naruto like squiggly line on its head, so I gotta give it a good rating. The reason I don't put it all the way cute is orange eyes. What's the thing with orange eyes, Nintendo or Game Freak or whatever? Like, what's... Just put normal eyes like my eyes, you know? I don't know. Life's great, work's great. I'm feeling ripped. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Today was a killer workout. Nice. Biceps and core. Okay, what's the next Pokemon? We got Lantern. It's a fish. Fish look cool. But why does it have like a yellow bandana over its eyes? I gotta put this Pokemon in a low... it's so hard to say, actually. I'll put it like at pretty cute. I think it's pretty cute. Ledian is very cute. I don't know what it is. It's like the only bug Pokemon that looks cute. It's just like, it's just flying, it's just chilling, but it has like circle feet and arms. I don't know, it just looks good. And like Ladybug or whatever is similar. I don't know why it has 2 horns coming out of it, but similar. I'll put that there. Actually, if I compare Igglybuff to Ledian, then I think Ledian has to take a notch down. I think that's more fair. My abs looked great when I was done, and there was a hot chick in the gym I went to school with, so the shirt came off. Ooh. Did you go up to her and say, what's up? And then she's like, wait, did you go up to her? And you were like, wait. You go up to her, and you were like, hello? And then she was like, well, I guess she did that. And you're like, yo, what's up, girl? and then she's like, can you not take your shirt off in front of me? And then you're like, excuse me? And I'll stop now. She walked up and talked to me. Oh, nice. That's cool. We got Maripa. Sorry. Just gotta get Mareep in there. Mareep's really cute. I just realized the ears. It literally has weird looking ears and tail. But it's a sheep. And sheep are cool. Sheep are cool. So I think we gotta put Mareep at pretty... very cute. The ears and the tail kind of make me put it at pretty cute though, unfortunately. Otherwise, this specimen would be higher rated. I shot her down like 3 weeks ago. Oh, okay. But you still took off your shirt for her. Wow. We got Meryl. Meryl is pretty cute. Again, circular features are everything. Got the Ziggly tail. Ziggly tail somehow holds up its like ball of a tail thingy. I don't know how that works. but you know, pretty cute. Almost makes it in very cute section or cute section, but the tail kind of turns me off. Sounds really weird to say. It's not like I'm getting turned on. I'm not getting turned on. I'm just saying makes it so it's not as cute. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so next we got freaking sexy looking Mega Ampharos, okay? You cannot tell me this Pokemon does not look amazing. Like, look at that wavy hair. You know, it could just go like that. It's just so beautiful. So, I gotta put it pretty high up, I think. I'll put it at, like, cute. It's, it looks like magnificent. It doesn't necessarily look cute, to be honest. But, we put Ampharos in pretty cute. I think Mega Ampharos could be in cute then. Blossom's looking less cute the more I look at it. I think that's fair. Needed the confidence boost, nice. Thing's horny for it. I'm not horny for it. Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing? How you doing? Next, Pookie Poop, we got Meganium. Meganium looks pretty cool. I mean, it has a long neck, and I'm just like, bro, why do you have a long neck? It has a flower. It kind of reminds me of Venusaur in a weird way, but not in a good way. I'll put it at average. Maybe even eh. Like, I want to put it at pretty cute, but not really. I think it deserves average over here. Damn, we have like no Pokemon in eh or ugly. My Christmas was uneventful because my friend got COVID and he canceled plans. So I pretty much, well, it wasn't I streamed and I just did what I normally do, which is fine. And now my heater is broken, so my hands are freezing. But besides that, I'm good. Added some cool stuff on stream. Added a blur effect that I have to perfect, for hopefully for next stream. And yeah, feeling pretty good. You need a heater? I got you. Oh, you gonna heat my house up for me? Wow. Next we got Mischievous. Mischievous got that cute smile that I literally just noticed right now. If it weren't for the smile, I would put it lower down. It's like actually pretty cute. I don't know if I'm just being overly nice today, but there's so many cute Pokemon in 2nd gen. Murkrow looks like eh. Just looks like a bird. Nothing special, not really. Kind of cute looking, you know? Yeah. Then Natu. What is with the feet? Why does every Pokemon, like, well, I guess every bird Pokemon has like these type of feet. But at least this bird, it has like red feet. It actually looks okay. It got this big ass head though. Like, what the hell's going on with that head? And the body is just nothing. It's just like 2 feet, tiny feet. The more I think of it, I think Natu actually looks pretty ugly. Damn. Pretty ugly guy over here. Hell yeah, I'm still gonna take you out for drinks. What do you mean? You forgot about last time? You got so drunk you forgot? Bruh. Come on, Hunter. How could you? It was like the night of my life. Okay, next we got Noctowl. Noctowl was coolish looking Pokemon, not really cute. I'd put it in an average, but the feet just don't do it. The feet do it a disservice. Put it at the top of eh. If Sentret isn't at least in the top 2 rows, I'm getting out of your stream for the night. We'll get to Sentret. We'll get to Sentret. I do have an idea of something for Sentret. Okay, Pichu is cute looking. I mean, it's just cute. You can't really argue with it. I'm gonna put it at very cute over here. I don't know, the black, yellow, and like the orange dimples, like everything matches very well with it for some reason. And I just really like how this Pokemon looks. Next we got Politoed. Politoed is pretty cute. I don't want to put so many Pokemon in the very cute section, but it is a very cute thing. Even the little like thing coming out of its head has like a squirrely thing that makes it like cute looking, just like on his stomach. And the more I think of it, Blossom is kind of not that cute. I don't know. I don't know why they use those colors, those green colors, shades of green, but yeah. Next we got a Quagsire. Okay, guys. Can you not tell me that Quagsire looks like a freaking maniac? Look at those god damn eyes, bro. Look at those eyes. They look like they're just filled with darkness and sadness. Like, why the hell would they make this Pokemon have those eyes? I just think it. I think it does not look. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Because of that, I'd have to put Quagsire at eh. I'd put it at ugly. No, I think, but it's not necessarily ugly. It's just scary and weird to look at. So I think eh is fair enough for that Pokemon, you know. Next we got Quilava. Quilava looks like a cool teenager. Not like me though. I was not a cool teenager. I kind of looked like this. Quilava looks like a cool teenager, so I would put him pretty high up, but this is a cute tier list, not a cool tier list. So he looks like he's trying to act like a cool guy, but he is cool at the same time. Gotta put him at eh. I would maybe put average, but he doesn't have many cute features. It's more like cool features. What's up, Nathan? Next we got Sentret. Okay, look at that freaking tail. What the hell is going on with this man's tail? All right, there's something wrong with it. That being said, it does look pretty cute. It got them tiny arms though, and that big stomach, and like black eyes. The more I look at it, actually, the less cute it looks to me. It got them tiny feet that look like a circle. It just looks, it looks kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie, but because Hunter in chat said that he would get out of the stream if I didn't put him in top 2 list, we'll put him at pretty cute. Okay, put him at the bottom of pretty cute. I think that's fair, Hunter. I think that's fair. Have you ever tried Umaibo? Maybe. It sounds kind of familiar, but maybe not. Next we got Skiploom. Skiploom's a cute-looking Pokemon, but I just realized what the hell is going on with its smile. It does not. Looks really weird. I'll put it at average. I think it kind of reminds me of like this one. It's just they both just look weird. Both of these Pokemon just look really weird. I don't know what they were thinking. Next we got Slowking. Actually pretty cool looking Pokemon. Not so much cute. So I'll put it on average. He looks like a mature, like, nice man or something. I don't know. That might do stuff to you in the middle of your sleep. I don't know. Okay, now we have Spinarak. Kind of cute, but it just has white eyes with black holes in its eyes. I don't know what the hell is going on there. The red things to use to, like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Why'd they make it red? And then the color scheme is just way off. And then must I remind you of what Ariados looks like? So, you know, we don't want this guy to be too high up. We'll put him in average. He's not a bad looking guy, you know, he's a decent looking guy. Next we got Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo looks like he's like gonna show you like everything tonight. Like he's gonna have some sexy times with you. Not really cute looking. I'll put him at eh. But looks like he's showing off everything, all his assets, if you know what I mean. I don't know. Whatever. Next we got Sunflora. Sunflora got them nice smile. Alright, Sunflora actually reminds me of Cyndaquil with the eyes. I don't know if you guys could see it, but I feel like it looks, you know, really cute. It got human-like feet though, which looks really weird. Actually, I was gonna put it at like the cute tier, but the human-like feet just makes it look weird to me and takes off the cuteness. Okay, Sunkern just looks dumb, but kind of cute. I don't know why they made that like brown paint like it's a Native American guy or something. Kind of makes it eh, honestly. Otherwise, it would be a top tier cute looking Pokemon. I don't know what happened with the paint on its eyes or whatever. If you don't put Yanmega first, that's top of list I will leave. I'm probably not gonna put Yanmega first. Anyway, let's get to the next Pokemon. We got Togepi. Everyone loves Togepi. All right, I don't love Togepi that much. I think it's decent looking and it's pretty cute. You know, nothing else. Something's wrong with its eyes. I don't know what it is, but something's off there. Togetic is similar. Slightly cuter. Look, slightly less cute. Even average, I would say, actually. It's just, why does it have that long-ass neck? I don't know why. Just why? It looks cute otherwise, but I don't know. Something about that is weird to me. And then Totodile, like, look at his mouth. What the hell is going on with his mouth? It's just huge. You could do a lot with that mouth. But anyway, yeah, I think his mouth is like just too big. But it kind of adds to his cute factor. I want to put him in very cute, actually. Yeah, I'm going to put him in very cute. Wow, all 3 starters got into very cute, which is actually pretty cool. Typhlosion looks cool. Not really cute. Not really ugly. Kind of reminds me of Feraligatr. I'm going to put him in average over here. Next, we got Umbreon. Kind of ugly. I don't know. This design, I don't know what the yellow circles on like the black body with the red eyes. It like almost looks cool. It looks kind of cool, but it doesn't look cute really. It's just the yellow circles. Like I feel like black with white or black with like a different color would have looked so much cooler. Like black with yellow with Pichu looks really cute over here, you know? Well, obviously the design also, but yeah. That's what I think of that. Next we got Wooper. Wooper's a cute-looking guy. Cute-looking Pokemon. Wooper just got them circular features. Actually good-looking eyes. You know, it's just whooping around, though. It has no arms. I'm not going to be armist, but it kind of takes away from the cuteness level. If you think about it like if you think it should have arms, like it's a Pokemon that looks like it would have arms, then it looks kind of weird. I'm going to actually drop it to average here because of that, to be honest. And we got 2 Pokemon left. We got Xatu. Okay. It's the head and the feet. I don't... Listen. The head and the feet, it's better than it's better than this. You know, it's better than its, like, pre-evolution. But there's something off even with Xatu. Like, the head-feet ratio is better here because of the body in between. But it's still something weird about it. So I'm going to have to put it in you know? Maybe the top of because it's not that bad. Circular features just really work well. And then the last Pokemon, we got Yanmega, which has really weird legs. Okay? Technically, this is the wrong picture. It's not a Yanmega. It's a Yan whatever. Okay? But it has weird looking legs. It has the same style legs. That being said, it does have a cute face. But like the orange-red tail that it has kind of doesn't really fit in my opinion. So, unfortunately to Nathan, whose favorite Pokemon is this Pokemon, I'm going to have to put it in average. Okay, so this is the list. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching. How was that, guys? Some of you guys are like, that was terrible. How could you? I'm gonna save this actually first. So I'm just gonna save this as Pokemon Gen 2 Cute Art 1. You know? Just gonna save that here. So you guys could check out my account, which is on Discord, if you want to make your own tier lists and show it on the Discord, because that would be cool, I think. And I thought my computer just froze and everything broke, but we're still good. What the hell? Okay. Oh, okay, we're good. I'm going to put background music so you guys could put music you'd like to listen to. And, yeah. We're going to play some Pokemon now. After 72 resets, let's see if we could do anything good. Ba-da-ba-ba. And this time I have everything ready for Pokemon, so it won't take long to set up. I'm leaving. No, Nathan, I'm sorry. I couldn't put him at the top tier, okay? Putting in top tier, I can't like BS, okay? I gotta, it's obviously my opinion, but I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Thinking about it might have drove you too far. One more thing though, I just gotta change the window.
that you made on my table. Ooh, that's kind of cool, actually. Did not mean to do that. But, yeah. There we go. Okay, cool. That's in case we look at stuff later. And, of course, I always forget this, but I have to add the badges thing. Now he's married to Mabel. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Listen, it's just our opinions, right? There's no objectively, like, good Pokemon or whatever. I'll click on your link in a second, Doctor. Let me just, what did I want to do? Oh, yeah, add the badges. Let me just add the badges. And I told you that you make them summer now. Also, don't want my computer to crash, which almost happens sometimes. So I'm just gonna disconnect some stuff like Spotify, since we're not using that anymore. I'm gonna stop recording so it separates on OBS, and I'll start recording again for Pokemon. And the last thing, I gotta add badges. Because we have 0 badges now. Up and down. We just refresh that. Boom! Badges are on screen. Okay. Now we are Gucci. I don't remember if the modded thing was the correct one, so I'm just gonna rewrite it. We got run 74 right now. That's what we're on. How many runs do you guys think? Should we hold a thing? A prediction? How many runs until an ice Pokemon? Ooh. That sounds cool. How many runs until ice Pokemon? We're gonna say 10 or less, or more than 10. All right. Gonna put a prediction up. You guys can predict with your channel points if you want. Oh, and also I forgot to press on this. What is this? Thinking of the life that you've been on the bruh? That didn't zoom into where I wanted it to, did it? Does he ever get to touch it? Or she? Oh, shit! This is so random. That. Anyway, let's get back into the good stuff. Oh, I'm feeling good about today. Why? No reason. Because we haven't streamed in a day, so that's why. We got one person giving 50 points against 0. Should I give back the points? You think 10 or less? Do you actually? I'll return your points since no one betted against you, so nothing would happen. We got Whiskash. If 2 or more people in chat say that they would be willing to do the prediction, then I'll change it. Ooh, I forgot to change the game thing. To what do you want? Christmas presents? I don't know. I gotta make it clickbaity, you know what I mean? Let's go to Pokemon XY category, and now it should be good. Guys, I thought of legit buying a new, another Stream Deck, just so I could type stuff in. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I changed the mic stuff So now when I breathe in and out, you guys shouldn't be able to hear it. And also, it should sound clearer and brighter, technically. So, but no one said anything, so I'm assuming there is no noticeable difference. But it is what it is. Oh yeah, we're on run 74. So I'm gonna add another reset there, which I forgot to add. Always my bad. Our last run didn't go well, right? How did we lose? Oh, we lost against the Swampert, I think, last Thursday. I'm really hoping that today we do well. I'm feeling good about today. I don't know why, but I'm feeling good. I think I've learned personally from all the mistakes from previous runs. And I think basically I have to actually think this time. I have to make the Pokemon have moves that are more like useful, if that makes sense. Dance alright. Like more, yeah, I think useful. I think that's the word I was looking for. Ooh, I'm missing. You gotta dance all night. Oh, you know what I found? I was talking to some friends yesterday. That I lived with in Japan, or that I've met in Japan. They're not Japanese though, and you know what I found out? I found out some cool stuff. Look, watch this. Don't I look better now, guys? Look at that. Look at that. Oh. Wow, indeed. Look at that face, baby. We were talking for like 2 hours, and I left this face on for like half an hour to an hour. No, like an hour and an hour and a half. This and 2 other faces. And I think they got used to this face more than my regular face. So I'm gonna keep this face on. See what you guys think. Oh, a Gyarados. This makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Why? Why does it make you why does it make you uncomfortable? All right. How about this? I'll put a better one for you, okay? Here, we got this. Oh my god! Ah! Is that better? I'm an anime character now. All right, next reset. Oh, can we get some awes in chat? Oh, this one is cool, right? We're on run 75 now. You better dance all night. Now looks like he's his gen. That was a good one, Nathan. I look like my gen. That took me like a second to get. You better dance all right. This one doesn't look bad, right? I feel like I could be a VTuber with this one. I mean, it's obviously not VTubing, but it's kind of like VTubing, right? This one, like, I feel like if someone would draw me anime style, this is how I would look, which is pretty cool. I mean, my eyebrows look better because they're not as thick. And, yeah. 10K coin flip. Whoever wins buys Biomold. Oh my god, is that a shiny Bisharp? Better dance all night. So this is a second reset. Let's see if we actually get to 10 without an ice Pokemon. Usually we go less than 10, I feel. Nay. By the way, should I add gambling back? I think of this from time to time. I don't know. You better dance all night. You better... Yes, PP. If I add it back, I think I'll add a lot of cooldowns to it. I don't know. I don't know if I want to make you guys gamble all the time. So if you guys gamble all the time, like we've had people here that were only here for gambling, and I don't like that. It doesn't feel good. Excuse me. You know what I mean? So if I add it back, it would be in little splurts. I mean, that's what the prediction thing is kind of for, but 1 minute cooldown. 1 minute cooldown. Maybe. Okay, okay. How about this? How about this? How about this one? You guys like this one? Does this one look cool? Look at that. Hey guys! I look like a cursed cartoon character. Jesus Christ. I feel like I would get nightmares from this. No? What do you mean? It looks amazing. I'm just gonna keep this on and see what the next person that pops into stream says. If they say anything. I'm just gonna keep it like this. So this is the thumbnail when you're clicking through streams. This is what you see. Let's go with Big P. All right, let's actually see what Pokemon we got here, though. Ice Pokemon? Oh! Wait. They're not ice. Fairy. Damn, I got excited for no reason. I'm so stupid. No! We're at 76. Wow! I swear, shiny Nuzlocks would be so much easier than this. I don't know why I made this so hard for myself. This is the third reset of the day. And I'm gonna put my regular face back, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. I know you were loving that, but gotta go to regular sometimes. I like the baby one, though. I feel like I look better as a baby. Snap baby. A snap filter baby. My boy or a girl? I am a boy, I guess. Gotta go with Poongy Poong over here as usual. What do you guys think? I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I was almost finished making a new account to make it turn off. Lol. Don't worry, I turned it off. Was it that, like, bad? What do you guys think of me? Okay, this is a crazy idea, but... I want to make more... Okay. I'm not going to do this yet, okay? But I kind of want to make... like weird types of streams / videos. I mean, my videos are already weird and stuff. But I want to make more like varied type of content. But I want to add on to what I'm already doing. So, what do you guys think if I started streaming a bit earlier alongside all these streams? And I basically do streams that are like made for YouTube, but very weird. So like, maybe they're not even. I don't know if. Actually, scratch it. Never mind. I don't think it'll be streams. I think I'll just make videos like that. Like one example would be like I have notes on my phone right here. Donating to small streamers if they say hi, but I only donate like $1. Like dumb ideas like that. That are basically like what the big YouTubers and big streamers like Ludwig do, but like from a small streamer perspective. You know what I mean? Instead of donating $10,000 like Mr. Beast, I'd be donating, $1. It'd be like a dumb thing like that. How many runs were that? It was like 4 runs, I think. Ooh, I made them so good right now. It's so much easier to restart. You should make a Mario Kart video. Ja. How would the Mario Kart video be like? Just me losing all the time? You can't play anymore? Why, you don't have like the Switch Online thing? Is that why? Online membership? Oh my god, it's a shiny Finneon. There's so many shinies. I think it's shiny. It looked shiny. So many shinies the stupid professor has. Yeah? Oh, I'm sorry, bro. That's not a sarcastic aw. but it sounded like it was. Gomen nasai. Hey, mama. I was legit thinking the same thing to go girl next run, yeah. If there is gonna be a next run. Last run? Last run question mark? Last run? Probably not. I also looked at Ludwig's videos, I'm not gonna lie, and I basically just copy pasted them and I thought, what if I do this but in a funny way? So he has a video literally titled, How much money do I really make, right? So I thought, why don't I make the same video? But it's like, obviously no one knows who I am. It's just like a dumb video. I guess it's more like for or like short clips, like TikTok or YouTube Shorts, but I was thinking of making videos like that. Or like, I don't know. He has a video called, the video ends when Twitch chat is dumb or something. So you guys just say one thing in chat that's dumb, and then the video, it's like a 5-second video, you know? I feel like those could be funny and fun. It's just that they take time to make, I feel. And yeah, I don't know. What I really want to do a lot is I want to do what we used to do and go into like random people's streams and just like try to like talk to random people. Ooh. Cool Pokemon, but all useless for us. An R right there. We're on run 78 right now. So that's 75, 76, 77 resets. Say one thing dumb you say, Ping Pong Master. That's a good one. That's a good one. Hey, what's up? Hello, Ping Pong Bunk. Funny. Funny. I was looking for the... Never mind. I messed it up. Just ignore me. How you doing? How are the Pokemon emotes going? How's Pokemon? Have you been playing Pokemon recently? And how's... Yeah, that's all my house. We have question of the day, by the way, which no one pressed, but it's a question of the day. Hello, Ping Pong Bong. Bing Bong, I get it. Should I make it so that when it zooms into my face, it blurs also? I feel like that would be smart, right? Yeah, that would be smart. I'm a smart cookie. Down a bit. I should have sang it. I know that song. Haha. Just heading to bed? Any New Year plans? No. Nice. That was a quick answer. How about any New Year resolutions? How about that? What you mean, PP? I don't know. What do I mean about what? Like when I zoom in, the background is blurred. If that's what you're asking. Working on my story New Year's plans. Nice. Arson? Sheesh. I'm gonna pretend I never heard that, Nathan. So if you actually do arson, you know, I'm not an accomplice or whatever. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to put a girl. I'll put a girl next time. Nice. Nitrogen monoxide. Is that fire? I don't know. Monoxide is dangerous, right? I know that much. Working on my story. What is your story exactly? I don't know if you've ever told me what your story is. Na 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 na. Or you told me once maybe. Na, 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 na. No, I don't think you have told me actually. What is exactly your story? Nitrogen monoxide. My Pokemon Nuzlocke Genlock. Gotcha. Nah. How far are you into it? If you don't mind me asking. Na, na, na. Arson. Nitrogen monoxide. Oh, so that is arson. That is fire, yeah. Technically, that would be more accurate if he said fire. But arson is doing something with fire. So, a little wrong there, doctor. Alright, what are we getting? What are we getting? If that is fire, I don't know. And there are no ice Pokemon. Oh. Genlock. Dude, why are you brying me? What did I do? We're on reset number 79. Jesus Christ. I only have 100 files. But I don't think we'll get to 100 today. Because we're not going to get to 100. We're going to demolish this game into next year. No is the... Oh. That's a good one. Hey! Janelle! Thanks for the sub. Arigato gozaimasu. Jesus. It's been almost... Oh, there's all of them are FU. Beautiful. It's been almost a year. Jesus Christ. Let's go. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, D-Mail. Thank you, D-Mail. You're gonna unsub the next month? Wow. That's messed up. Took a break from it, but started back up this week, and the story's up to rival battle number 2. Oh, nice! That sounds awesome. Are you gonna make it into like a YouTube video or something? Or something like you could tell us how stuff is going on? How you doing, Danielle? How you doing? Thanks for the sub. Hontou ni arigatou gozaimasu. Seriously, thank you. Doctor's just looking to gamble his points. My money, my choice, my dude. True. This is true. Gonna post it on Wattpad? What's Wattpad? Sounds interesting. Oh no, there's an ad in progress. I'm sorry to all those that are getting the ad right now. All 10,000 of you. I'm down for 10K. Start 'em up, boys. Woo! Wait, are you guys actually? Wait, if you guys are actually doing this, okay, I gotta make this more. All right, guys. 10K. Go to coin flip, okay. No, don't flip yet. This one doesn't count, okay? This one doesn't count. Oh wait, I should start a prediction for heads or tails, baby. Heads or tails. All right, we gotta get some music in here. We gotta get some epic music, okay? Or some. Yeah, some. First flip is always tails, then I get scammed. I choose head. Dinal chooses head. 10K up. Jesus Christ. We have 10,000 points against 0. What is this? The other person is not putting up points? We put the wrong one. Oh my god. But it's fine. It looks like 10K against 10K. That is a lot of points. We got 10,000 points against 10,000. This is the coin flip of the century, okay? The coin flip of the freaking century. This is the coin flip of the millennia. Who will get 10,000 points? Will it be Dinal Gigabyte or Dr. Gurr? The coin does not lie indeed. What will happen? Let's turn off the music for this tense moment. The music be off. Tense. Tense. I'm gonna zoom in here. Flip. Heartbeat commencing. The answer will. You're so dumb. I didn't press it yet. I didn't press. Even the heartbeat stopped. Okay. And smoke. Who will win? Who will be the winner of 10,000 points? Hold your breath in. We're flipping. Oh, and it's heads. It's freaking heads. Oh my god, who would have guessed it would be heads? Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Wait, who won that? Who won that one? Jeez, that was intense. Wait, I could see who won it. No, I can't see who won. 3 people voted for Tails though. Damn. Time to buy. Oh, it was Doctor. Wow. And Dino wanted to go heads, right? Wow. Site or app that you can post stories. Oh, that's cool. Wattpad. I'm gonna look it up. Let us know when you post it if you don't mind. I would love to check it out. I love stories. And here's a Discord if you'd like to like post it when I'm off stream or whatever. Or if you just want to join. Did I miss any messages? Time to buy Biome Old twice. Bro, it's literally does nothing. It does nothing. Good night, son. Have an amazing night. Thanks for popping in. Good luck on the Nuzlocke. Tino got scammed. I stole his choice. True. Next time I get heads, though. Is next time right now? Ooh. Tino, how many points do you have, if you don't mind me asking? You must have, like, quite a bit of points. I couldn't believe it. Like, Nathan had, what was that? Over 200,000 points at one point. Like, if you look at the recap, the rewinds for Twitch, which I posted on the... I posted it on Twitter, actually, but yeah. You don't have a lot? Aww. Oh, Doctor didn't redeem it. Doctor didn't redeem it. Uh-oh. Sag. I got enough to do another 10k next time. Oh, wow. You know, you're still, I think, the #1 chatter, aside from me. I think it was because of Ratchet and Clank and the other game we played. Forgot what it was. Dam Daniel. I want to start streaming more. Horizon, yes. I want to start streaming more and stream other games. But I think it's too soon. I think I have to be comfortable with what I'm doing now before that. I'm playing Breath of the Wild right now, though. Oh, nice. Are you off of work right now? You get off of work like 10:30, right? Which is what time it is here. But right now it's 7:30 p.m. for you, right? Oh, I forgot to pick the girl again. I'll pick the girl next. Doctor. Bruh, it does nothing. You literally did it for nothing. You didn't. I didn't write a note down or anything. That was pointless, bro. You did it. What are you doing? You're wasting it. You redeemed it twice? What the hell's wrong with you? What? Huh? Get Mario Party Superstar so I can video. I thought of getting it if I had people to play with, but if it's only us two, then it's like whatever. And also if it's like, I'll play it with streamers, I guess, also, but if I get it, it'll be in a while. Gomen nasai. I'm trying to make this stuff happen right now, you know what I mean? And we're on the 80th reset right here. I just want one good run. Doctor is for real flexing. True. Bro, how do you have so many? Doctor also, keep in mind, guys, Doctor just redeemed VIP recently, and that's 100,000 points. Jesus. He's on another level right now. Do you have... Oh. Okay, I remember to pick girl now. Don't give me jelly beans. We're gonna go with Pee-Pee over here. I do not, but I could get it if we were actually playing it often. Yeah, that's kind of similar to me. I could get it if we were playing it often. But right now, no. I want to... Okay, let me tell you what my ideal world is, okay? Ideal world is every day I stream for like 8 to 10 hours. But I have a section of that stream dedicated to playing with you guys. A section of that stream dedicated to playing with other streamers. A section dedicated to like YouTube type content. And then a section where we just do whatever.
Jelly bean time.
The problem with doing that right now is it's not very viable. I can't really do that right now. Oh, thanks for the jelly bill, bro. Well, you're right. I am rich. You think I can afford jelly bean? Well, you're right. I play it with family often, but I could probably only weekly. Yeah, that makes sense. I got a white win. Ew. I think weekends makes more sense to play with you guys anyway. Because, I mean, let's be honest, people probably have more time on weekends. Hey, what's up, God? How you doing? We're resetting as always. Oh, this is so nasty. Oh my God. You guys want to see something cool? Look, now I'm an average Ping Pong Masters viewer. Because you're all 5 years old. I'm just joking. What's up? Super sexy? What the hell? It's a baby, bro. Oh, this is buys you. Termoto baby. I look better now, right? Watch this. I don't know how that actually looked. Oh, that looks weird. Get good, holy. Well, you don't like God? I thought you liked God. Did you change the color of your name? Let's go with Lady P, baby. Even though I'm a baby right now. No ice Pokemon. Oh, that's the cute Pokemon we talked about before. Look at that human legs, right? Look at his legs. So human-like. Aw, Doctor, I'm sorry. You have so little points. Eddie, my love. So sweet. You're just... No, you must have more points than that. I can't see how many points you guys have, unfortunately. Eddie, my love, Eddie. You guys like my face? I don't know, did I? Yeah, you did. How you doing though, God? I don't know if I've asked you how Christmas was. feel like maybe I did, but I don't know. Yeah? I must have. Yeah. Unless I didn't. Nani sore. Bets are 1K plus. Can I bet with my alt account? With Doctor's account? Nah, you can't bet with your alt account. Sorry. If I let you bet with your alt, like, I feel like alt accounts are a big no-no, you know? Obviously, for doing stuff that, like, makes it easier for you, like how you're able to send links with your alt account, that's fine. But using points, betting, because then it's kind of like you're giving, well, let me think about this. If you're not using the points and you're betting with your alt account, does it even really matter? Maybe it doesn't matter. You can buy triple pin threat. Wow, nice. I'm so excited. 大丈夫よ。最強だから。Can you get free points? No, I can't actually. I looked into that. I can't. I'm ready, I guess. If I win, I won't be able to use it. Yeah. You could give points to the main account through bets or steal from other bettors. Yeah. Whose song is this? Isn't this your song? I saw you song request. Thought I didn't see that. I'll say this. Let me get rid of my baby face. I'll say this, okay? I'll look into making gambling a comeback, but it won't. It'll just be gambling. It's just you gamble for nothing, pretty much. Haha, got it. Yeah, I don't think he would give points to the main account or steal from other bettors, to be honest, Doctor. It's just if I let one person do it, then other people would want to do it, and I would just rather just have it a thing that no one can do. So, what would we gamble? You would gamble PPP, ping pong points, but not Twitch ping pong point, or maybe about. Well, we could come up with a different name for it. No, Lil P. No, call me Lady P, baby. Sorry. But you wouldn't be able to do anything with those gambled points. Yo, this is actually really bad. It's almost been 10 resets. How'd you know, Doctor? It's like the most in a while that we've reset without an ice Pokemon. Again, the only thing with gambling that's like out for me is that there's certain people that just stay in chat for gambling, but I feel like it could be a nice addition-ish if the gambling doesn't get you anything. So, but then is it fun? I don't know. Hear the song I heard from my friend. Oh, was the song you put earlier the song you heard from a friend? Excuse me. I'm really feeling horny right now. I mean, I'm feeling good. Kabuto. Gosh, no. Hentai bitch. Nice. I'm sure that sounds amazing. I gotta go white with blue eyes and blonde hair, so I'm like so I look cool. That's what I meant to say. Overflow. Hey yo, you're the one that put hentai bish. Lay me down, Steve Lacy. Oh, that sounds hot. Get up, you woman. Sounds very forceful. I didn't mean it to sound. I'm just trying to tell her to get up because she's sleeping in her bed. And a bird almost attacked her, you know? She gotta act more smart. Ooh! I forgot, guys. I added a new thing. I added a new thing and it's a zoom out effect. I completely forgot I added this. Isn't this like wonky? I thought of maybe lowering the volume of everything at the same time that it's zooming out, or like adding echo at the same time. So so that should be cool. I gotta fix add to zoom out. I want to get another stream. I want to get another stream deck because it's so annoying to press like a button to go to a new folder, but they're expensive. Do both lower volume. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Lowering volume and echoing at the same time. That would be cool, right? That'd be so cool. That like I want to listen to it. Yeah, I will listen to it when it pops up. I want to make it so that the stream, not always, but a good amount of time, feels like a YouTube video, you know? Like, it still feels like a stream that, obviously, because I'm talking to you and you guys are talking to me. Excuse me. But also that it's, like, professional, you know? I think that would just be cool. It's obviously more interesting than a YouTube video because you never know what might happen. Bend over. Ooh, a Squirtle. If the next run of Pokemon has an ice Pokemon, I'll bend over. Okay? I'll bend my butt over. But not for you, God, because you're underage. I'll do it for Dinell. I know he likes that. Yo, this sounds so catchy. What the hell? Yo. Oh, I'm so dumb too. I think I could add an automated thing. So when Stream Element says could not add song, it just automatically puts requests. The sting. Automatic requests. Oh, I'm so smart sometimes. I am so smart. I'm just put a note here. Bro, I swear, every time I stream, I find new things to add. Like, this must like end at a certain point, no? Like it kind of feels like sucky a bit. Ha, sucky. Because like I don't know, it just feels a bit sucky sometimes. Because like I need to spend more time editing, that's why. Bend over now. If the next Pokemon's an ice Pokemon, I told you. You still need to add your OnlyFans link? What do you mean? I have an OnlyFans. Exclamation point OnlyFans. Yes. It is? Well, we'll see. What the hell? I really played a character named Bend Over in a play in 3rd grade. Oh, Bend Over. Wait, did you actually? Is that a legit thing? That's crazy. What? I'm just gonna pretend that I can't hear the lyrics. Because I'll get canceled off Twitch. It's a very catchy song, though. You'll find it one day. You shall never. Only Downbus? Only Downbus? What does that mean? It was like a joke. Play all the characters that names like that. Oh, in 3rd grade? So it's funny teacher. Hopefully the funny teacher didn't do any funny business with the students. I'm so cringe. Call me Lady P, baby. My name's Lady P, bitches. Give me an ice Pokemon. I thought Larvesta was an ice Pokemon for a second. No bending over for you. Okay, if the next thing is an ice Pokemon, I'm going to gift 5 subs. Okay. Yo, this sounds. Or is this before you have sex? You listen to this song? Found it. You found my only songs, OnlyFans, or you found Cradles? Oh yeah, there was a stand up. Like stand up. Just very punny. 10 subs, no, bro. I don't. Oh, I have like no money. I'm not gifting 10 subs. I have money saved up from Japan. All right, and it's running out real quick because I pay rent. That's literally the main reason. I don't even go out. I don't do anything. I just sit home, edit, add stuff to stream, and watch YouTube. That's what I do all day, every day. Pretty much, almost every day. We're gonna go with 5 subs, okay? I'll go with 10 subs if someone gifts 5 subs, but listen, it's only if this is an ice Pokemon. What's the chances we're gonna get an ice Pokemon? You come on, talks fraud. Nice, that sounds cool. The chat is a bit offset today. Oh really? I thought oh, you meant on OBS? I tried to make it so it wouldn't be offset, to be honest. Well, I made it okay. So I paid attention in the past. I made it too big, so it went like too much. It's not offset. It is offset, but it's not offset. So if you it'll like fix itself depending on what people type. But thank you. You're not 26, bro. You're like 5 years old, no? I'm just joking. I'm joking. Look, an ice Pokemon. We'll see, maybe. Mabababa. The moment of truth. Where's my tension button? I don't know where I frickin' put my tension button. Oh, there it is. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh. I just mean like the most recent message is covered. Oh. No, watch. Oh. You right. I mean, what are these songs? Did I fix it? All right, let's see. I'm 12. Nice. That was the wrong thing. Nah, I think it's just gonna be like that. I think it looks okay. Unless I'm still misunderstanding. You're 12? 5, 12, same thing. I'm just joking. Doctor's gonna tell me how it's not the same thing. Alright, ice Pokemon or not? Look up the snack Umaibo. Okay. Umaibo snack. We'll look it up after seeing if this is ice Pokemon or not. I'm 24. I'm 24, Dinal. You're not 24. How old am I? You're 12. I don't know. The term I just mean, like the most recent message is covered. Oh, I think it looks okay. Hey, what's up, Angel? My friend said he was better than me, and I had to show him who's boss. Nice. Oh, you beat the Sonic game. Nice. Oh my God, those jelly beans. I feel like throwing up. All right, let's see what we're getting. Let's see what we're getting. Will it be an ice Pokemon? Will I be gifting 5 subs to chat right now? The moment of truth. The moment of truth. Will it happen? Nope. I saved my money. Let's go. I haven't been so happy to see no ice Pokemon before. She on freak on low. She touched the flow. Catchy music. I have my leg on top of my table right now. Actually, kind of crazy. I showed your mom who was boss. 512 is 6, and 6 is in fact not equal to 12. However, because there are two numbers, 6 times 2 equals 12, so it is true. Nice. You show Ping needs to play Sonic Colors for real. I'm telling, well, for God Monkey, Diego has to make me play games, but he's been busy lately. But I also just want to do. Did I see the Umaibo snack? This looks like Doraemon. I don't think I've ever had this. This looks really weird. But I mean, I guess some people like it. You know, some people like it. Who am I to judge? Wait, when I press browser, huh? What? Oh, because okay. I was very confused for a second. Okay, everything's good. Oh, Nathan loves this song. Sonic, but with racism. Wait, what? Sonic, but it's in Unreal Engine. Is that like a meme thing? Excuse me. They're good. Due to pink? Yeah, and due to pink? I have no idea what that means. But cool. Listen, guys. Listen, guys. If you guys can make me afford rent every month, then I'll play a lot more variety games. And I'll stream for much longer hours, I think. So. Oh, you like the song a lot too, Angel? Nice. Very nice. Da, 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 do, boo. Be touch my butt real hard. What? Did I write that? Yeah, I did. Okay. That's a community effort, and I'm doing my part. True. Now, but honestly, every viewer is doing their part just by viewing, because that helps me grow. So don't worry if you don't have money to spend or you don't want to spend money. I still do appreciate that greatly. Obviously, I appreciate subs as well. When is Genshin Impact coming back? Never. Maybe once in a while, but probably not likely. I put this song, remember? Did you put this song right now? No, Nathan put it. You've put it before? Sure. Yeah. Is it your favorite song, Angel? I also pinged the like button. You ping the like, you press the like button? Nice. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and tell all your friends. I don't know. Your main DPS is going to have a skin next update? Beto? Growing which way? My PP size. I mean, my monetarily and audience-wise, which go together. Jesus Christ, Radicate looks like it's on cocaine. What the hell? It looks so stupid. Oh, God.
Oh, I'm so sad. Why do people treat monkeys like this? Not only that, but we're not getting any freaking ice Pokemon. You stupid, stupid game. I hope you rot in hell, game. And I hope you take all the humans with you. Monkeys rule. Humans suck ass.
Anyway.
Muscles.
Let's go. Look at the muscles, baby. Hell yeah, look at them muscles. Monkey can't get muscles. Look at that. Ugh. Ugh. Hunter got those muscles like this. That's what you get when you work out, guys. I smiled for the picture. Cheese! Thanks, God. What a beautiful picture of my face. My favorite song is the one I put. The hentai song? Oh, no, wait. Who put that? God put that? Never mind. Which song did you put, Angel? Squidward knows? Yes, and the Electro one. Who was the Electro character? Don't remember. Ooh, You should mod the game so the Pokemon are actually in correct size. What? Bro, this is a modded game. I'm not gonna mod it again. I'm gonna become white. White is right, so it should be good like this. Ooh. Is this Italian? I'm just joking. Send me that link. Which link? I'm going to send a pic. Don't send a dick pic. That's all I ask. Especially not of my mom. I don't want to see that again. I just realized it captures my cursor. Kind of crazy. Check out my latest video. Nice. What? Nice pee-pee. Guys, I gotta pee. Should I hold it on? Hold it in. Should I hold it in? Nice. Wait, what? This song sounds nice. Who put this song? Dinell. Sounds very nice. Yes? Bruh. Alright, I gotta go pee-pee. Can you guys like act normal while I go pee-pee? Alright. I don't trust you guys, but I trust you guys. I'll be right back. I guess I should add stream avatars, yeah. I think my computer's okay right now. No? If you're dating a Spanish-speaking girl? What if you're dating a Spanish-speaking guy? What's up, guys? It's Ping Pong Moosers back with the... Is that Arabic? You guys are so stupid. How much did you spam it? I'm about to watch him pee. Latinas love this song, On God. Can you send it to me so I could show all the girls that I'm going after? Сейчас я запускаю рекламу, чтобы Jesus. Donate here. Hey, what are you doing? Hey. This is no Mr. Beast channel. It's Ping Pong Moosters. I have donated to Team C's though. I donated $5. Wrong thing. Goes Arabic. Does that say kill yourself? Guys, come on. That's messed up. You sent picture? Alright, let's see what picture you guys sent. Then you're feeling low. Oh, kaching, kecking. Oh, Ningguang has a nice costume. Ningguang's so hot. It's okay. She's over 18, I think. Don't make me want to play Genshin again, bro. Yo, coming like a yo-yo. Where's the po-po? I canoe with my row. That's what it sounds like. Like that's literally what I hear in my ears right now. Your main DPS has a hangout story? Oh, cool. So I can see more of her. It's okay, bro. It's okay. Read the name every time you don't get any ice type. What name? Read what name?
So yes, this playthrough is going to play Pokemon.
Bro, I don't care about this guy.
Pearl, except
How does this have 176,000 views and it's an 8-hour video? Oh, it's probably
to
stream.
level up right now. Oh wait, let me pay back.
This is Point Crow. Point Crow is pretty cool. Oh, it's a VOD. His VODs channel has 121k. Jesus. Let's check out how much my VODs channel has. Ping Pong Masters. VOD archive. Bruh. Okay. Anyway. What did you send me? What are these faces? Pickle. Ew. 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 He sent me a picture of a kid that was eating a pickle and looked like a weirdo. Because of the pickle in his mouth. It's pretty sus, bro. Sussy baka right there. How was? How US? Okay, well, the US was made. I was about to go into a whole thing about the US because you said how US, but I stopped myself. Show us? I can't show you, bro. Discord showing is like mad work. I'm too lazy for that. If you send the link to the picture, I could show you, but I don't want to show. It looks dumb. And you sent it to me. Why I need to show it to you guys? Send it on the Discord gallery if you really want people to see. Why you can't? Yo, the song sounds cool. Is it also Doja Cat? I like this one more than the other one. Oh, your name? Get good, Holy? I'll try to remember. Hello? Yo, what's up, guys? It's Prince of Games here with another Yo, what's up? How you doing, bro? You missed the Gen 2 Part 1 cute tier list, but it's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of cute Pokemon in Gen 2 of Pokemon. Let's see. What is it? Oh, what? What? I couldn't even see the Gyarados. Sheesh. Oh, say. Such a good singer. You also missed like 14 runs of nothing. Of no ice Pokemon. We're getting very unlucky. Oh, and a 10k bet between Dinel and Doctor. Where Doctor won. Yo times 10 to the 20. 10 squared oxygen. Ah, you thought you could trick me. Doing good to your mom. Nice. Damn it, Ping Pong. How did it happen? What, the last run? I threw the last run. I didn't throw it, but it was against the Swampert we lost. Yeah. That was last week, right? I think I lost it last week. Unless I just overrode the save file by accident, but I'm pretty sure we lost it last week. That was intense stuff, though. This song reminds me of her. Aw, my mom? Damn. I'm sorry you guys broke up, you know. I tried, but it wouldn't work. What, to join the stream? I mean, to join the Discord? Really, Angel? Well, here's the link. How'd you lose the run before? I might have forgotten. I think we went up against a Swampert. We went up against a couple of Pokemon against the skater girl. I'm just the skater girl. And she just killed us. You just need to use a different move like 3 different times and you can— Yeah. So I screwed up because I had to I screwed up Ice Ball because I didn't realize Ice Ball is like rollout but ice version. Or I realized it. Basically, whenever things get too tense, I don't think enough and I do really dumb moves. But even if I did the right moves, it wasn't guaranteed win. It was just hard battles. It's just hard with the randomizer, you know? Did you do the thing? Oh, the Christmas part. I thought Oh, I guess you weren't here Saturday, right? We watched all your vids, by the way, Prince. But I think you sent a couple, right? But it was canceled because one of my friends got COVID. If you talked about it, I wasn't here. Gotcha. No worries. No worries. Nani booby ubu. It was a tough one. This is for PP. What is this? TikTok verified to... What?
Round 1. Fight.
I'll help you fight your forehead? What? I don't get it. I must be dumb. I don't get it. Hope they get better. Same. How you been doing though, Prince? You got a YouTube? Tell me. No, to send a link here? Ah, gotcha, Angel. Gotcha. あなたは私が今まで見た中で強靭な I don't have a Titanic cock. What the hell? Shameless plugin. POV, you're Sakura. Oh. Was that what the title of the TikTok is? Oh. Still kind of don't get it, but you have to solve a puzzle to watch TikToks now? Yeah, apparently. Yo. Squidward knows. I got a nice pose. I got nice rose. That's all my rhymes. That's all I got. Yo, Prince, you know what else you missed? You missed this. You missed this. That's better, right? Yo. I got that Squidward face, yo. Sit on my face, yo. I got a shoelace, yo. I'm gonna win the race, yo. You missed these nuts? Probably, yeah. The song is the best. It's very catchy. Gotta prove you're not a robot. I got nice rolls. Yeah. I go to the polls. Your YouTube sucks? Why so mean, God, huh? Let's see your YouTube. Please stop this. I can't take it anymore. Oh, fine. I like the baby. You don't like the baby? Alright. That's a lot of Alright. If someone's gonna it's only me. Alright. I don't want to get the whole chat horny. What are these songs, bro? Alright. Shameless plug-in 3, 2, 1. Psych boy eat. Wow, you couldn't even put the link? Wow. His dick is smaller. This is my toes. Most of my vids are private. Bro, you can't even have a YouTube channel without breaking TOS. Oh! Probably true. But listen. You keep at it, God. I was a YouTuber when I was a kid. I was getting thousands of views. I pumped in right when the time was right. And then my dad's like, take your face off the internet. And I was like, I just deleted everything. I should have been stronger and pushed through. Such a sad story. No getting horny on stream. Yes. Don't cry, bro. You continue your YouTube adventures, you know? Don't give up. Go check it out. Send the link, bro. I'm a YouTuber. I'm not gonna. Okay, here, let's look it out. Psych Boy Eats. Is it even his channel is the real question. Bro, I don't even want to click on your videos. Now I'll click on one. All right, let's see. Let's see. I did Naruto Rasengan. Very nice. It was very nice. It was very nice. I'll give you it. It was very nice. Yeah, I subscribed and I put the bell notification. Okay, I couldn't press the bell notification for some reason. It's not your channel. Why you gotta lie to me then? I'm unsubscribing and unliking. Oh, hi, I'm new. I feel like, Prince, you're trying to pretend you're new so you could leave me right away and be like, I don't feel bad because I'm new. No, I'm gonna cry on stream. I did think you made that. I'm too trusting. It's not gullible, it's trust. Jesus Christ. If we get an ice thing next, okay, I'm gifting 10 subs. Shit, no, 10 subs is $50. I'm gifting 20. I'm giving 5 subs, okay? If we don't get an ice Pokemon this next round. 10 subs is way too much. 10 subs is how much I spent a month going out. Where's Citra? There we go. He said, I almost said 20, yeah. I was thinking $25 for 5 subs, that's why I said 20. Gudra. Slugoon? Nah, Sliggoo, yeah. Please let there be no ice. Wait, you don't want me to gift subs? You don't want me to spend money? Aw, that's so sweet. Oh my god, it's a Yveltal. By the way, we have 10 more runs. I have to make more runs after this. We're gonna go with the boyo this time. White boy over here. White boy 7th Street. Make more runs. If we don't finish the runs, we're gonna turn on the Switch and see what we could do on the Switch, if it works. Because you'll be broke and I need you for entertainment. Aw, that's so sweet. I wouldn't be broke. I'll just be closer to becoming broke. See, the closer I get raid... yeah, I probably didn't. 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. We're at 89 resets. Thank you. Play Mario Kart? Yeah, we might go to Mario Kart if we don't get all the runs in. But I want a good run, bro. Basically, I just need 10,000 people to watch my daily YouTube videos that are going to start January 1st. Okay? If 10,000 people watch them daily, then I make like 100, not just 1,000 people, let's say. No, 10,000 people. If 10,000 people watch my YouTube videos daily, then we're Gucci. Then I'll be streaming more often. And I could gift more subs and stuff like that. So basically, never. Raid. Who do you want me to raid, Prince? Did someone raid and I didn't see it? Notification would have popped up if someone raided. Is that guy you like streaming right now? Is that why you're saying raid? No, don't call me little peepee, you little stupid. Oh, you're just trolling? Oh, Whooper. Look how cute he is, except he has no arms. Bro, it's so cool when we rate them, because now I actually look at the Pokemon differently a little bit. Especially since we literally rated Wooper's cuteness level today. Stupid armless Pokemon. Nothing wrong with armless people, though. Just armless Pokemon, that's wrong. We're on 90 resets. Can you guys believe that? I've pressed the reset button 90 times. He is actually? Oh, of course he is. Oh, how's he doing? My hand is very cold. My heater broke, guys. My heater broke. So, my hands are freezing right now. And it's like 30 degrees outside, I think. USD. Or however you say it. Fahrenheit. Let's go, pee-pee. Come on, we got girl power. Give me the girl power. Ping Bong, stop being bad. Dying is gay. And listen, there's nothing wrong with being gay. So I want to die. Wait, what? That sounds weird. Never mind. Let's see. Continue being bad. Resetting is good. Is it?
I was just
I mean, it makes it look crazier for the YouTube video.
By a man and he said
I was just a little kid when I was pulled out of the street by a man, and he said the run when you have a chance. I didn't know what he meant, but I just ignored it. Then I heard something running at me, so I just started to run and never looked back. And then I made it to my house, and something was beginning on the door. I stayed in my room for 2 days, and I went outside, and I was attacked by a big black figure. It was a big black bear, probably, right? Anyway. Did that Tatas? Wait, did the Tatas actually go through? I didn't hear anything. I mean, listen, if the Tatas went through, I'm happy. It did? Oh. Why didn't I hear it? What the hell? Yo, what is this song? The song sounds beautiful. Yo! What? Oh, I thought it was a full-on song. What's that? Oh, that's sad. They showed but one to go touch grass. Oh, I would never touch grass. Disgusting. Wait, why didn't I hear Tatas? I always hear it. Is it that low on stream now that I don't hear it? Guys, I was thinking of doing a subathon. I've thought about this in the past, but... So we could reach more emote stuff. But yeah, I don't have emotes ready, so I don't think I'm gonna do it. I see you changed the pictures for awards. Yeah! That's cool, right? It took me a long time. They look like really cool now, right?
Ik shalt jet stan ziegen, Amanzigen für
Oh, I could hear the Tatas now.
It's
German. It reads out German, I guess. Did you say I have a small penis? I don't know German. You didn't hear it? Well, they said they heard it, so it went through. Sorry. Lugia, I want you in my butthole. Oh, why can't we get you? Na 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 la la. When I touch my butt, it smells like doctor. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring you into this. Let me just press on the resets button again. We're on 92 resets. Yeah, I added a new reward too. I don't know if, well, that one was from last week, I think. It's so obvious what I said. So uncultured. What do you mean, Angel? It went through.
Everyone said it went through. Why are you making me sad? I'm just a sad little monkey. Trying to live my freaking life. I'm about to become angry little monkey. 91 resets. The world, they don't care. They don't care that there haven't been any ice Pokemon. Wow. So you better start caring. Or else I will cry.
Anyway, what did I miss? If you get an ice type before 100 resets, I'll buy an Oja board. Nice. I hope I do then. This is I'm running ads now to turn. Oh, of course it says that. Oh, it says pennies, not penis. Oh. You also changed the emote for. What did I change the emote for? That was more along the lines of Mad Monkey for a second. Yeah, it was. Gomen nasai. Go girl. I've been going girl sometimes, not all the time. I gotta stop 7 points. Gotta get that MVP VIP baby. Hell yeah. Wait, I don't want to name her Poop. We gotta go frickin' pee-pee over here. When I touch my butt, it makes me think of my... Yo, is my voice actually like better now? I freaking added an equalizer. I added a noise gate. I added a compressor so that like you guys don't hear me when I breathe. Like, you know? But Price, you could also just buy them all 2 more times and join me. What? Prince? Price is a cool name. Princess too. Ping, who's the real MVP, Curry or KD? I don't watch basketball, but I'm going to go with Curry because Curry is like a good tasting food and KD is like kill death ratio. And I don't play Call of Duty like that anymore, you know? So, yeah. If you don't get ice, I'm leaving. No! I'm going to get ice. I'm going to get ice if it's the last thing I ever do in my life. Okay? I'm gonna freaking get ice right now. Get the freaking ice, baby. Get the ice. Get the ice. Get the ice. I want you. I need you. I am you. Oh, tension button was right there. I'm such an idiot. Give me ice. Give me ice. If you don't freaking give me ice, Pokemon, right now, you better give me a nice Pokemon. Oh, come on my butt, bro. What is this BS? Oh. Well, gomen nasai. Don't leave me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wanted an ice Pokemon. I wanted it all. I don't get to control this, bro. I'm sorry. Wait, did I paste it? I think I pasted it. So many Bhutans. I hope you buy an OG board, though. No! Corey Sexton? What? Angel, don't leave. If you do get ice, I'm leaving. Oh, shit. I didn't read that one. Get ice cream? Yeah, the ice cream Pokemon is a chance as well. That one sucks, though. Deal god. I don't know if it's a deal more so than yeah. If I don't get an ice type before 100, I will gift 5 subs. Okay? If I don't get an ice type in the next, you know, in the next few, okay? I'll gift 5 subs. My name is Pink. Ping Pong Moosters. If someone gifts 5 subs right now, I'll reset. This is funny. I'm so dumb. I'm staying for this? Okay. If you get ice, I'll smooch you in March when you come over. Wow. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, what? Anyway. Doctor be like, Doctor, you're gonna feel all alone being the oldest old. For your finances, get an ice and run 100, then die to rival. Wait, I still have to give 5 subs. Oh no, I don't have to. But I die to rival. Yeah, that would be the best. That would be the best. Teo, I touch my butt when it isn't scratching me. Oh yeah. Just give me a freaking ice Pokemon whammon. Give me the ice Pokemon. Give me the ice Pokemon. We're so close. We're so close. Call me Lady Ping Bish. They don't know if the Har is a VIP chat. Yeah, don't tell them. It's crazy out there. God damn it, bro. What is this BS? We got a freaking Tornadus. I'll read chat in a second. Let me just put 94 up here. Let's see. Well, I want to add a new thing. I added it. Well, I didn't add it. I'm gonna add it next stream. It's a secret thing. What the is middle Pokemon? Oh, it was a Tornados. It's a legendary, but it was like flying in the air. If you don't get an ice Pokemon before 100 resets, you will gift 10 subs. No. Oh, you will gift 10 subs? Oh, okay. Wait, if I gift 5 subs, if I get an ice Pokemon before, but if I don't, you give 10 subs? 6 more, please. Don't get an ice. Wait, what did I say? If I don't get an ice Pokemon, I gift 5 subs. That's what it was. Will you give 10 subs? Is that what you're saying, Angel? No, will you? I'll give 5, yeah. The Spanish, I'm not trying to spend $20. No worries. I'll give 0 dubs. Good. We don't need dubs. Everyone here speaks English. Dumb joke. Spanish version of the rules is chat banned Sag. What? What do you mean chat banned? Because you say negro, is that why? Lol. I'll bust a nut or something? Wait, you'll bust a nut? Wait, if I don't get an ice Pokemon, you're gonna bust a nut? I'm so excited now. We don't get enough ice, so please don't get one in the next 6 rounds. I'm so confused. Okay, I'll try not to. Oh my god, we're getting graded! Ah! We also play Mario Kart if we don't get an ice Pokemon. Possibly. I'd need to set it up, but yeah. Come on. Oh! I've seen this intro so many times already. And I still ran into the wall there. I'm such a loser. I'll go buy a jar and an MLP doll if you don't get one. What's an MLP doll? Call me, no, not Pekins. What the hell? Call me Lady P, bish. Come on, ice Pokemon. Oh, I thought for a second Kingler was. Damn, we're getting really unlucky. This is the most unlucky we got. And I'm still feeling like good vibes. Because you guys aren't here. We're on 95 now, actually. We only have 100 files, so that's actually 99 resets. So, yeah. I'm about to spend $0. I have a very important question. What's up? They really don't want you to win. True. I just found a Martin Luther ping for the acronym. It's My Little Pony. Martin Luther ping? Oh, like the guy that stamped the stuff on the church? Martin Luther? It's My Little Pony. Oh, a Martin Luther ping would be a cool doll too. I watched a hentai and there was a lot of music. Then I said I'm trying to, but a nut, not bust a move. I said I'm trying to bust a nut, not bust a move. It's so stupid. We're gonna go with boy this time. What the dog doing? He's not here. He doesn't come downstairs as often as he used to. When we were doing Pokemon Gaia, we would have a dog cam on him because he would come downstairs all the time. But he doesn't come down as often. I think it's because my siblings are on vacation, so they stay on the first floor more often. So he stays where people are, basically. So I don't know what he's doing. But great question. Why us Augustin is so hot? Bro, I swear to God, I lose brain cells reading chat sometimes. No, like MLK, but you. Yeah, I got it. I was making a dumb joke. Martin Luther King, right? Martin Luther King. Wow. I got them jokes. Yeah. You got another question? Bro, you could ask the question. What's up? What's up? Did you tell your brother? Yeah, I told Prince. Have you forgotten our? Oh, maybe you missed it. But I said it when you were in stream, like a day after you. I told you that I was gonna tell him. He said that he's played the game before, and he likes it, but he doesn't like the aesthetics. He likes the gameplay though. Raid. Cool emote, right? What's up, Doctor? No worries, Prince. No worries. Yeah, he has played it before. I didn't know that. He didn't know about the storyline thing, though. He was, like, surprised I asked him about it. He loves fighting games. I could see him becoming a fighting game streamer and being more successful than me. So he really likes that. I have a question, but you will never know. Sag, you want me to put the baby face on? All right. No, don't call me little P, you idiot. Call me Big P, baby. Because I got a average-sized PP. Hell yeah. What are we getting? What are we getting? Oh my god, bro. That's a legendary for anyone wondering. It's a deer. Oh, god damn it. What is that? We're on 95 now? Alright, guys, I would want to spend my hard-worked Japanese yen on chat. No, I'm just joking. I like gifting subs. I just wish I had more money to gift subs with. Have you played mine? No. VR would be so cool. He played the game but didn't see any story. Yep. I'm assuming then maybe he didn't play it for too long. Journus, yeah. He didn't like the visual. Yeah, he didn't like the visuals. No, like he didn't like the visual. Have you played Minecraft in VR? Nope. I want to get a VR set eventually. I think I wrote a note of it before, but I'll write it again just in case. I definitely want to get into VR, but that's later down the line, I think. Put your name as Little P. Watch what happens. Ooh, yeah, let's try that. No, we're at 95 resets, but it's run number 96. So there's 100 files. Technically, maybe I should have made 101 files to see the 100 resets. But we're at run 96 right now. I'll make more files for tomorrow for sure. Minecraft VR is spooky for real. Looking down a mountain. Yo, what would really be cool? There's a thing on Twitch you could add that if people like for channel points or bits or subs or whatever, you can make like creepers pop up in Minecraft and stuff like that. So I definitely have idea. Like there's a lot of cool ideas that could be done that I've thought of, but require a bigger audience. There's also cool ideas that, or there's obviously cons of having bigger audience. Like I can't talk to you guys as one-on-one as easily, but I've thought of that. So doing that in VR, I think would be crazy. VR porn is realistic. Does everyone have VR in chat? Jesus. Yeah. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I want to get VR for that reason. For sure. I want to try VR porn and then see how that is. Me no have VR. Yeah, me neither. VR. How much is VR? I'm assuming a VR headset is not too expensive nowadays because it's been so many years, and they're not that advanced, right? So if you get a cheap one, it's probably okay. Y'all need to get on VR porn. I tried the you know, you could do a mode on your phone that makes it like you look around with your phone. I tried that version of porn, 3D porn or something, but it's not the same. Oculus is 200. It's too much money, bro. Too much money. Too much money. But yeah. Bing bong. If anything, I would get Ice Pokemon? The hell? Zekrom? Oh no, I needed a Kyurem, not a Zekrom. I confused myself. Shit. Oh god, I'm an idiot. Zekrom means nothing. Yeah, IQ minus me. Their names sound similar. He's the electric boy. I got super excited for a second. I'm an idiot. That would have been perfect. If reset file, if the last one for today is a Kyurem, I'm gonna freaking be so happy. I'm gonna go crazy. IQ'd. Remember when I told you that I said you have to show my friend who is boss? I thought you said you showed your friend who is boss. But yes, I do remember that. It wasn't too long ago. I think I would buy a stream deck before buying VR. Just so I could, if I had another stream deck, I could just blah, 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 blah. I could press on 72 buttons without changing folders, which from my side of things, if you guys can see what I see, it makes it so much better. Zekrom is a legendary Pokemon. Here, I'll show you. This is what Zekrom looks like. He's like a really good legendary Pokemon, but he's not an ice type. We can only use ice type Pokemon. And then Kyurem is an ice type Pokemon. And he's really good too. They both come from the same game, kind of, so they're both similar in that sense. So I got excited thinking that this was this, and this is the best guy we could get. Like, this would make the run so much easier. We had him once, and I screwed up the run. But I think, hopefully I learned from it. Posted himself getting beat by me. He put my friend is way too good for me. What? He put my friend is way too good for me. And then you beat him. Nice. Very nice. What are the odds of getting an ice Pokemon? So there are, that's a good question. There are, from Pokemon 1, let's see. I don't remember exactly, so give me a second. So by the end of 6th gen, there's 721 Pokemon. Okay. There are 41 ice type Pokemon in total in all of Pokemon, but there's 33 up like that we could get because this is up until 6th gen. So if we do 33 divided by 721, we have a 4.6% chance to get an... No, actually higher. We have a 4.6% chance for one Pokemon, but there's 3 Pokemon that pop up, right? So 4.6... I don't remember math. 4.6 times 4 points, like, times itself? Times 0.0. Or divide it? I don't remember how you do that, but it's a decent probability. There's like a 5% chance just running in the grass to see someone that's an ice type Pokemon. So maybe 15%? I don't know. Maybe 5% times 5%. I don't remember how to do that. Anyway, I'm too dumb. You messed that up? No worries. Baka. I remember that. The odds are low. But not this low. I think this is the furthest amount of files in a row that we don't have an ice Pokemon. It's pretty crazy. Did you see the Big Bang video I sent on Discord? If you send it to watch, yeah. But I don't remember it just from you saying Big Bang, to be honest.
Monkey do very bad.
Oh. Big Band. Oh, from the game Skullgirls? I think we watched a bit of it, yeah. Not too much of it, to be honest, though. Because you weren't there, so I was like, I don't feel bad if I don't watch the whole thing. But I watched a little bit. Unless you're talking about what you send me DM. Because I know you sent me, I'm pretty sure you sent me a Skullgirl video for Saturday. But if you send me a DM thing, I'm pretty sure I watched that, yeah. You have 2 more runs left? I do. Wait, according to, we're on run 97, so there should be 96 resets. No, we have 97, 98, 99, 100. We have 4 more runs left. It's probably the longest without an ice type, right? Kind of crazy. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was yeah for a second. Oh yeah, I gotta go with a Lil P. I forgot, right? Maybe Lil P is the key. Just call me Lil P. I don't want to be called Lil P, but maybe that's how we get an ice type Pokemon. Oh, I was about to go crazy if I saw one. Run 98. Jesus Christ and Joseph Almighty, baby. Almighty. Alright. I sent in a DM after you stopped after the first minute or so. Oh, then I probably didn't watch the whole thing. Sorry. I might have skimmed through it, though. Urusendayo. This is so cool. What the hell? Hi, Streamlabs. Nah. Urusendayo. Ooh, Piloswine. Maybe this is a good luck charm. I remember that you did 2 more. Well, you're remembering incorrectly, bro. I'm literally just pressing the files, so. Alright, this is annoying. You just send me the same thing for 6 minutes. Muscles, look at that. Ugh, hell yeah. That was a TikTok of different people reacting to that. If you want to send stuff, oh, I'm white with blue eyes. I just realized that. If you want to send for the weekend, you could do this. Let's go. I'm always a little bit late with let's go. Swallow my toes? What are these words? Jelly, Lil Nas X. Oh, is that the one with the weird music video? Name yourself a Lil P. Nah, I don't want to do that. Just don't get an ice type. You mean pay $25, of which I get $12.50 of? Alright, it's like $12. I forgot about that. Yo. Oh. This is nasty. His dick is smaller than my toes. Yo, you're way too horny for me, bro. I'm sorry. I left at least a minute of it on, though. His dick is smaller than my toes. That's so random. I mean, that's cool. Oh, I really like the song. This is from Skullgirls, right? Yeah, the music is like really, really good. I really like it. Touch my butt tonight. Na, 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 na. Big B, baby. Come on, ice Pokemon. I always think it's an ice Pokemon. Okay, we only have 2 files left, okay? Things are getting spicy. Jesus, we're at 98. Oh. Na, 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 na. Touch my butt. Get like a Celio. That would suck. Oh, you want me to get an ice type, but not play through the run, yeah? So I can play Mario Kart? Yeah, smart man. Micro P. True. Hey, nothing wrong with a micro penis. Cupcakes is the best song maker. She makes all kinds of songs. I'm the best song maker. Are you kidding me? Chances look low. I mean, they're independent trials, right? So each file is gonna be the same percentage. But what is it? 5% normally, around 4 or 5%. I'm just gonna go normal for this one, and then if you have 3 Pokemon, you have 5%, 5%, 5%. It's not 15% and it's not 25%, right? What is the actual probability that I get an ice type Pokemon? I forgot how to do that math. Does anyone know or remember? I feel like Doctor would know. Little does he know I hacked into his computer. No, he deleted all the ice Pokemon files. Damn it. That explains a lot. Oh. Oh my god, what if I just added echo? What if I added a button so it adds echo for like 2 seconds and goes away? Nah, but then I don't have control over that. I don't like that. You guys putting a lot of songs, but remember, if the next 2 runs are not ice Pokemon and we go to play Mario Kart, you're gonna have to listen to Mario Kart background music. But we do a lot of predictions for Mario Kart, so you get to spend points and gamble, so that's cool. Expected value formula is square root of n, the number, right? So 3 times the probability, so like 5%. Okay, so let's do that for a second. 3 times 0.05, or it's 4.6. 4.6, which is 0.046. Ooh, gambling. Yep. Times, or I guess minus 1. 0.954. 0.954. 0.954. 0.954. Square root of 0.13. I don't know if you said the right thing, but square root of 0.131652. What? That does not make sense. You're telling me there's a 36% chance? Unless I did the math wrong or the equations wrong. I do love good old gambling. Wow! As long as it isn't Poke Roulette. Yeah, let's not do that. That'll give you how many runs you're expected to get in n runs, so divide that by n for probability. Shit, I closed it. What was the number? It was like 0.38, right? I feel like you're making this up, right? 0.38 divided by 3. No, I don't want in the amount of runs. I want to see the probability of getting an ice Pokemon in 1 run. Like from 3 Pokemon, 3 starters. Is it 34%? Welcome, External Knight. Welcome there. We play Pokemon Nuzlocke here, and people make fun of me. And we play community games from time to time. I think it's still 5%, but you do 300 trials total. I don't think that's right. I thought you knew that percent. That's what P is. Oh. I just took P as the probability for 1 event. Lil Nas X. We do indeed make fun of you. Yeah. And if anyone would like, you can song request some music. Let's go big P here. This should just become a math channel. Yeah, I mean there is a lot of math involved with Poke. Oh my god! Are you kidding me? Yo, this is the second to last chance we had. And we get an ice type Pokemon. I'm not gifting 5 subs this time though, sorry guys. Oh, if I go up against a Wobbuffet, I might die though. I don't remember which Pokemon I go up against. You'd have to battle shit. Yeah, possibly. Do I? I need to fumble in him, okay? Name it Tommy. Why Tommy again? What do you guys want me to name it? Sorry you don't like it, Angel. But you're still here. The song's actually pretty catchy. We named him Nuke, right? Ice-T. Oh yeah, Ice-T is actually pretty good. Oh yeah, Tommy because the machine gun clip. I just remembered now. My bad. Because it sounds like a machine. Yeah. Name it Blue Balls, Nuke. Yeah, I feel like we gotta go Nuke because we named it Nuke before, you know? Sorry guys, we're going with Nuke. Nuke is back. I do like Ice-T though. Ice-T sounds great. Tactical Nuke. That's pretty long. Let's go with Nuke. Oh my god. Alright. Let's see what happens now, okay? We're gonna put some epic music. T-Nuke. Oh, that would've been good. Sorry. It's okay, the run might end right here. This is an ice-only monologue, so we can only use ice-type Pokemon for anyone wondering. There's level caps, you can't use items. It's a hardcore Nuzlocke. If our Pokemon dies, we'll have to reset. So this is tense. Shit, she does have shit. Ugh, girl version too. Disgusting. Okay, what do we do here? What do we do? We have Zap Cannon, Lock On, Stomp, and Explosion. It's gonna have counter and moves like that. If we one hit KO, we're okay. We could go with Stomp, see how much it does, and then like play accordingly. Because I think Zap Cannon should be pretty decent here. We're gonna try Stomp. I don't think a counter would kill us. It's 1 minus P. It doesn't matter because it would just be negative, I think, right? Explosion's the best play. Come on. Level cap is pointless if you can't even get past the first battle. True. Oh, he used Destiny Bonds. Okay. Stomp doesn't do much. I'm gonna try Lock On, then going into Zap Cannon. If you lose, then you give 2 subs. No, I never agreed to that. Not that it matters, but I did mess up. Oh. Why did I read that down? Nuke T. You guys are actually pretty creative. I don't want a Zap Cannon. Zap Cannon seems to... That was dumb. I shouldn't have locked on. Ugh! You stupid ass Pokemon. Okay, it looks like we're gonna have to nuke here. It used counter. If it uses counter again, we should be good because Zap Cannon is Please use counter or be paralyzed. Safeguard. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. You don't start the reels until you get focus. Nah. This matters too. I'm not using explosion. Yeah, we pretty much won this. We pretty much won this. I just gotta make sure Zap Cannon hits. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're freaking good. Let's go, baby. The run continues, baby. Let's go. Hell yeah. Oh. Damn, you guys really want me to lose. Get out of here, girl. Oh, I gotta save this run, bro. Freaking 98 resets. That was the craziest, like, run, like, set of runs without any ice Pokemon. Jesus Christ. I should have gone explosion, like you guys said. All right, we're still not out of the water yet. Okay, I have to go back. What are these songs? Oh, this is from this is a JoJo's background. It's actually pretty cool. This is so cool.
Goodbye.
All right, see you, Angel. Thanks for popping in. Gomen nasai, there's no Mario Kart. But hopefully this is the run. Hopefully this is the final run. If we could get Kyurem, this run is like freaking set. And I'm not an idiot. Like, that's a big ask, but I think this run could be for sure set. Come on. I'm not mad for the Mario Kart. Oh, okay, that's good. No Mario Kart yet. There's still plenty of time to lose. Actually, that's very true. I'm mad for no subs. I'm sorry. I gave like 4 chances of me gifting subs, and none of them came true, okay? It's a Vanillite. Okay, we don't need to catch it. I mean, it doesn't count because we don't have Pokeballs. That's the only role that doesn't count. So we're okay there. I'm gonna go and be back if you're still streaming later. Okay. See you later, Prince. I know. Daisuke. If Vanillite pops up again and I can't find it for like half an hour, I'm just gonna move on. Zawarudo. Bye, Pog. You're gonna get another ice now. If I get Vanillite, possibly, but Vanillite sucks. Also, I'd rather have a fully evolved Pokemon, so to be honest, I might just skip this route completely. I don't want Vanillite. I'd rather just push with Regice. See what we got. Staraptor. What What the hell is this? You put this shit again. It's so bad. Gomennasai. Alright, maybe I'll run through the grass. Nah, I won't. Maybe I'll level up one level so I don't die. Because you never know what the first trainer will have. Watch, his hands got stuck. What? The Pornhub intro? What? What is this? That confused me. I felt like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like a boomer looking at that. I'm not even gonna lie. I forgot we have Zap Cannon on him, which is very weird, but. Mr. Ryan. Who's Mr. Ryan? Oh, that was my high school teacher. I confused BP. It's not very hard to confuse me, I feel. I'm not too excited to have Nuke, to be honest, though. His physical defense is really low, I think, and his special defense is higher. I forget if it's that or vice versa. But let's see. Reggie Ice. Oh, yeah, his special defense is 200, which is insane. And his physical defense is 100, which actually isn't bad. His attack sucks, though, so he's a special attacker, boy. You're not the... Don't get Vanillite. I don't want to catch it. Okay, good. Give me Curum. Just give me a Curum, bro. Come on, game. You give me a Curum, and I'm like the happiest person. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you like freaking kidding me? We'll just lock on for the confirmed kill over here. Once we get Nuke to level 7, which will be right after this battle, I'm just going to go heal up for the first trainer. And then after the first trainer in the next route, we're going to look for another ice Pokemon. After a bit of searching, we'll push... I think there's 3 trainers before the first gym. If we defeat those 3 trainers pretty easily, and we have two ice-type Pokemon, one of them is a Nuke, then things look a bit brighter. The reason why they're not insanely bright is because right after that, we have to verse the Professor, who has 3 level 10 randomized Pokemon. So that is like the last potential thing that could ruin the run. I mean, anything could ruin the run, but that's one of the last things that could like really ruin the run. I always try to pass by him for some reason. Hey, it's a Bulbasaur. I was about to say perfect, but we don't even have ice-type moves yet. I think I'm going to push for... I think he gets Icy Wind at like level 10 or something. I'm going to push for that. If we don't get a second ice Pokemon before the first gym. Mr. Ryan. I gotta go pee-pee. Should I go pee-pee, guys? Should probably go pee. Heal up my Pokemon. Yes. Alright, let's just see what the first... Luminous Moss. This probably has something to do with the Grass-type Pokemon. Let's get our Paralyze heal here. Items are randomized too, by the way. Except like if a character gives it to you, or if it's an HM, because that's required in the game. Is that a shiny Zangoose? It's not, right? Ooh. Nice song. Yeah, let's just put Reggie Ice here. On the bottom. So we actually have a decent, potential decent run. We don't want Zangoose, though. I'll be right back. I'm going to go pee-pee, okay? Gomennasai. I'll be right back. It's so cold that I have to pee like every second here. B- Ooh, you changed the Japanese this time. Every time I put that the rules thing pops up, they always copy Streamlabs. Alright, let's look for more. Ooh, I have another idea. I have so many ideas. Actually, that one I'm not gonna do. You mask. You noob. I don't know. Okay. We do not need a Yamask. The hope is we get a Curum. Curum. I'm not gonna search too long, to be honest. I think when we, but it could be a good run. We literally have Reggie Eyes. Like I should take my time here. Mac on retard, Jesus. Especially since Reggie Eyes is slow. Hopefully it could run away. Especially since Reggie Rice is what is a legendary? Jidai or Genji, Jidai. I forgot how to read that. I think it's like reality. 新しい社のミソをオフにするために自分で行うと全体的にストリーム全 Okay, I could read most of that. Oh, it literally says the right. Never mind. I'm dumb. Nah, I'm dumb. Oh my god, bro. Yo, so close. So freaking close. It had to be a restroom, yeah? God damn. Give me a Curum. For a restroom playing with my feelings right here. Come on. Imagine I moved on and a Curum would have been here. Revenant. Oh, this song. This song. It's gonna be super fun. You should totally come. Dewa arimasen. Yeah. I couldn't translate the dollar. Imagine translate it to yen. That would be cool. This song is so catchy. Actually, I really like this. I don't know if Angel left, but it's good song. Catchy song. Okay, that looks wrong. I'm gonna stop doing that. A Voltorb. Come on, bro. Give me an ice Pokemon. Look at that ugly Pokemon. Nah. How is he faster than like Reshiram? There we go. Maybe he's not, but stare at him. What? That's so stupid. That would be so cringe. Imagine you go up to a group of girls, or like a group of girls come up to you and they're like, yo, who has the biggest boobs? And then you're like, I need to compare. I need a comparison or something. Roserade. Nice. This is the first time I've listened to a lot of the words in this song. Jesus. It's funny. I'm gonna move on to this area. I think there's only like a Reggie Rock. What the hell? Imagine I use this explosion and I just die. Jesus Christ. Okay, there should be a couple more Pokemon here. I'm getting excited just thinking about Kyurem. Okay, it's a Voltorb. I think we go up against a level 7 too. So Nuke should be okay unless we go up against like some like a Moltres or something crazy like that. Reshiram, stop showing your face. That's so messed up. There's been several runs now where Reshiram pops up, but Kyurem doesn't. But vice versa too, so it's not all bad. I'm a dead boo 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 imposter. All right. Do you have any Pokeballs? Here, Jesuit Whammon. Give me the Pokeballs. Thanks. Yeah, let's verse her. I didn't mean to run straight into her, but whatever. For Alligator. We should be able to tank Water Gun. I don't know if Fair Alligator... Oh, we have Zap Cannon too. 2-hit KO? Ooh, 1-hit KO. Jesus. Fully evolved Pokemon. Yeah, we'll go to level 8. Expected. A lot of XP though. Alright, here we just get the item and we're Gucci. What is this? An Iron. One day I want to pick up a Master Ball and then just run it to Kyurem like a second later. That would be awesome. I'm gonna save here just in case it freezes or in case I make a dumb mistake. Gotta save. Oh, there we go. I've decided for this New Year's resolution to not make any resolution. I'm tired of New Year's resolutions. By the way, guys, when someone new chats in chat, try to welcome them in if possible. You know? So everyone feels welcomed to be here. If that's okay. You know, let's foster a nice community, which we already are, but you know. Oh, Sock could do damage if we can't run away. That could have been bad. Oh, welcome, Doctor. Are you new around here? Like that. Nice, Doctor. Nah, because I feel like a lot of people are like shy, you know, which is completely understandable. Oh, I almost ran into the trainer if I went a bit too much there. I shouldn't run in this grass. I should run at the grass that's closer to town, just in case I run into the trainer by accident. This route should have more trainers. Worst case scenario, we just have to... Well, I could run into this trainer by accident, but that's harder to do. Jesus, is there only socks in here? Socks. You get it? But, no, I did not mean to attack. That was close to being not good. Let's save here. Jesus, run 99. Imagine we win on run 99. I could say it took less than 100 runs. That's so crazy. Okay, Swablu is not ice. Imagine I did a monologue, but it's only ice. Like, not dual type. Because when people do monologues, they don't really do dual type things, right? Is it just me or they don't, right? I'm changing the title of the stream. Oh no, it's run 99, not run 98. Oopsies. Jesus. Blissy, I wish we could catch you, girl. You're so pretty and sexy, but we can't catch you. We need an ice type. Not gorgeous. Is gorgeous supposed to be gorgeous? Like gorgeous? Is it supposed to be like a bottom's name? Because if it is, I didn't even notice. I just wanted to press the buttons in sync with the music to be cool. Probably not that cool. We'll look for like 3 new... Yan Mega. Cringe. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Knight. You see, Doctor? You can say welcome, Knight. Welcome, Eternal Knight. How are you doing? Ooh, I like your profile picture. Let's go, Naruto. I got a Naruto face. Wait. You want to see my Naruto face? I freaking love Naruto. Where's my Naruto face? Here it is. Am I a cool kid now? We got some Naruto. We got Pikachu. Pikachu over here. We got everything. We got everything and anything that you're looking for. But we don't have a Yan Mega. Oh yeah, the other one's called Yanma, right? The pre-evolution. I always confuse that for some reason. There are a good amount of encounters here though. What's up, Eternal? Do you play Pokemon? And if you do, what's your favorite Pokemon? This is an all ice type run, yeah. It has some crazy rules. There's a lot of rules, but yeah, this is only ice Pokemon can be caught or used. Level caps based off gym leader's highest level Pokemon. Set mode. I forgot to put set mode on. No items in battle. If Pokemon fates must be released. Party dies must reset. Yeah, you could read the rest. Nickname, no duplicates, and your first encounter is your only choice, and it's randomized. First encounter is the only choice to catch the Pokemon, and it's, yeah. But I don't know why I made it so hard for myself. And I'm dumb also, so it makes it harder. What did I want to do? Set mode. That's what I wanted to do. I wish there's a way to just automatically put set mode on. Probably certain ROM hacks probably have that, but it's an all ice type run, and my hands are freezing ice right now. Just kind of, but it's not really. It's not even a joke. I don't know why I pressed that button, but the freaking heater broke at home, so I'm just freezing in New York right now. In New York. All right, I'm gonna go for one more new encounter before moving on. Every Pokemon is supposed to be fully randomized, but they don't really feel like it, Eternal. But they're pretty randomized. We already ran into Ekans though. To be honest, Nuke might actually die if he's the only guy. Forget about it. Yep. I can never forget about it. It's New York. New York, forget about it. Jesus, there's only like one Pokemon popping up. Na, 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 na. Oh, and here, if you'd like to put on some background music, you're more than welcome to. Eternal. Any type of music. Except rap. I hate rap. I don't even hate rap. I'm just not a huge fan of it. Okay, Zoto, I think we ran into it before, but let's just pretend that was the last encounter. Let me think. If we have a level 7, I think we're gonna have to level up Nuke a bit. Fuckra? What does it mean, Mason? Fuck rap? I thought you like rap, no, Dino? I feel bad. Like, no? I thought you like it, Dino. Okay, Blissey should give a lot of XP, so I think Zap Cannon's good here. But her special defense is really high, I think? I don't remember. I think her physical defense is really low and her special defense is high. The God of the Sun. You do like it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the only type of music I'm like, to be honest, but gomenasai. Alright, let's take out Explosion. I know his name is Nuke, but one is doing 250 damage, physical damage, when his physical attack's not the best. Useful. When will that become useful? I don't want to do that by accident, no? But I mean, rap from time to time is fine, to be honest, for me. I think we're ready to verse her now. Wait, did I heal up? I did heal up, right? I'm just gonna save. Not like saving does anything. I can't reset. But yeah, let's verse her. Marshtomp. Marshtomp took out 2 runs. Marshtomp and Swampert took out 2 great runs. You freaking fascist. He's like one of the most annoying Pokemon. Because you can't use electric on it. Like, you need grass. I would need Obama Snow against it. Like, that's the best counter to Marshtomp. Like, from the choices we have. It's the only grass ice type. Up until 6th gen, anyway. I don't know if there are any. Yeah, there are no grass ice types except Obama. Which is good, because he has 7 weaknesses. One being 4 times weakness, which is fire. Which is just insane. My hands are freezing. Alright, we have to verse 2 level 10s, and then the gym leader, which will have a level 12, which is why the level cap's at 12. I don't want to verse 2 level 10s. I'm not gonna lie, that seems a bit scary. Do I train though? Nah, we're not gonna train. We don't have much of a choice though. We're not running into ice Pokemon. I don't want to try half an hour to get the stupid ice guy, the ice snow cone. Because he just sucks. Vanillite. So we're just gonna push. There's 2 required trainers here. One is right ahead of us, and the other is the gym leader. And the others you could accidentally run into, which we're not gonna do, hopefully. Which we did not do, thankfully. Okay, this is the first challenge. The second one after our arrival. Spheal! Okay, that's good. If the second Pokemon is easy to take out, we should be good. I don't want to Zap Cannon it. Can I just Icy Wind it? I don't know. Spheal is Ice Water, so Ice is 1/8 damage. Jesus. Yeah, so it looks like... Wait, he's Ice Water, so Zap Cannon would be super effective. I'm gonna lock on so I don't miss, just in case the second Pokemon is insane and I need more PP. Yes, perfect case scenario. Use Growl, and Clear Body takes out like Growl and all those types of moves. Let's go, level 10. Good, good, good. Oh, are you serious? A freaking dial. You see what I mean, guys? The randomizer is just insane. Okay, like, you would think Ice type is perfect here, right? But it's not. Because of the way it's because he's a Steel Dragon. The stupid... Steel kills Ice. This might be, like, one of the worst matchups in case of, in terms of legendaries. We're gonna need to Icy Wind. I don't think Zap Cannon is worth it here. The run might legit end here. So, we're gonna put intense music and lower it a bit. Okay. Dragon Breath. Okay, that shouldn't do much. That shouldn't do much. If it was Dragon, if it was the other Dragon move, that would have been terrible. Dragon these nuts. Ooh, okay, we're doing more damage. That's good. If we could freeze him, that would be good. And he has less speed now because of Icy Wind. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, all he has is Dragon Wind. You know, we should be fine here. Oh, okay. That was a bit scary. That was a bit scary, but it wasn't that. I'm prematurely celebrating, but Metal Claw? No. Okay, we're good. Jesus Christ. They had freaking... Oh my... Look at that XP too. Jesus Christ. Metal Claw almost lost the run. Oh god. We're so lucky that this AI used random moves too and wasn't smart, because otherwise we would have lost. Like 100% would have lost. Oh my god. You lucky motherfucker. Exactly. Sorry, no Mario Kart as of now. Okay, and I made myself come back without running into an opponent. Okay, this is good. This is looking good. Kind of scary though, because if the gym leader has something crazy, then we're screwed. I mean, but that's every run, right? The only reason why it's more scary than usual is because we have a legendary, which is awesome, but we only have one Pokemon, which is not awesome. Having only one Pokemon is risky, even in the beginning. Come on, Nuke. Get that health back. Okay, let's see if we could run into a Pokemon one more time. Okay, just one more time. Yeah, it's just Yanmega. We're gonna go versus the gym. Risky biscuit. It would be risky regardless, but I don't think we're gonna run into a nice Pokemon. We already checked a bunch of encounters. This is from I love this song. It's from Shippuden. An opening from it's like one of the last openings of Naruto Shippuden. I always make mistakes like that. Always. Jesus Christ. I'm so happy this isn't my first Nuzlocke. The first Nuzlocke I did, I would make mistakes like that, but I wouldn't save very often. I'd save like once in a blue moon. So I was like forced to deal with those consequences by resetting. If this was my first Nuzlocke, I would never finish it. Because it's already hard as it is, but alright. I really like this song. But we're going into a battle. We gotta frickin' beat her for taking pictures of us in the middle of our frickin' battle. What the hell's wrong with her? You're going down. Okay, Clotzer. Clotzer is fine. We should be able to shockwave it or whatever. Zap cannon it. We don't want to waste any zap cannons here, so we are going to tank whatever he hits us with. And we're gonna use a lock on. Oh, water sport. That's actually awesome for us. That's actually literally the best move he could have used. Literally the best move, water sport. Okay, now we zap cannon. Water gun, easy tank. Zap cannon should one-hit KO, possibly? I don't know how Kloitzer's defenses look. Okay, that's fine. He's paralyzed though. He's probably gonna get a heal up. When he gets a heal up, do we Icy Wind? I think I might want to Icy Wind here, actually. I don't want to waste too... Yeah, there it is. I don't want to waste too many Zap Coach. I thought she would Hyper Potion. Of course she would just use the regular potion. It's the first gem. That was dumb. That was dumb to use Icy Wind. Okay, it's fine, though. We'll just tank one more Water Gun and we should be fine. Zap Cannon should one-hit KO here. Vice Grip. Okay. So it's just a weird thing. Zap Cannon should kill him. Her. Killer. Let's go. One Pokemon left. People say like Pokemon X and Y are some of the easiest. Yeah, this is Anorith. But now when you add all this stuff on it, makes it harder. Okay, Anorith, we should Icy Wind it to death right here. He could have... Could he have Ancient Power though? Not at level 12, right? Okay, we might have higher speed now, so Icy Wind might hit first. Okay, Mud Sport. We should... this is our win right here. And, like, we're not even Zap Cannoning, so we're fine. Let's go! Let's freaking go, baby. First gym out of the way. That's... Thank God. And we just hit the level cap, too. Perfection. Now we just need to get a second Ice Pokemon before hitting the Professor. Because... I don't want to verse the Professor with only Nuke. There's 3 level 10s we would have to go up against. Various reasons for why I don't want to do that. Alright, let's put the first badge over here. This run might be looking nice. So we got the first badge in the top right corner there. And level cap. Where's the level cap? Give it up, tell him upside down. Where is the level cap? Oh, here it is. Level cap goes up to 25, which is... Wow! We do have to verse quite a bit of trainers before the second gym, but usually if we beat the first gym, we're pretty good for the second. And we have Reggie Ice, so as long as we can catch one more Ice type, getting to a bit before the third gym, we should be okay. That's... After the second gym and before the third is where things get tricky again. But yeah, if we catch Kyurem, we're set. That's literally what we need. We need to catch Kyurem. I'm so sad though. Last run we had, the last good run we had, we didn't even have a legendary, and it was a good run. But we lost. Ooh, one more thing we need is a water ice type. Water ice types are freaking like we had Walrein last run. If we get a Walrein, that would be pretty good. Good thing after second gym is also we have access to experience. Oh no, we get I forgot, we get experience here right here. It's so early on in this game. I guess in a lot of games it is, but there's about 16 to 20 encounters we could get here. Hello there. So we'll see how many we could get. Hello, Alonso. Welcome. Hey, Ben 10 profile pic. Cool. That brings me back to when I was a kid. I was thinking Nuke 1.0 was last run. Yeah, that was the run before. I think, right? We've had a couple of pretty decent runs, but... Welcome, we are doing an ice monolock. So only ice type. We do a bunch of Nuzlocks around here. And I'm learning more. I've been playing Pokemon since a kid, but I'm learning more and more because I'm dumb. And I forget a lot of information, but... What's up, Alonso? How you doing? How's life going for you? Ooh, the little baby popped out. That was cute. I love this song. Okay, we got 2 encounters in the yellow. So we have 8 more encounters? Does Zoroa count? Because technically Zoroa counts as an ice type because it changes whatever is your last or first party member, right? So we could use Zoroa. Sounds like Zoro from One Piece. Sparrow. That's 4 encounters now. Oh, what do we got? Kangaskhan, stop showing your big peepee on screen, bro. Gotta get away. The baby is just chilling. Very Australian vibes. Bro. Bro, like Kangaskhan, calm down. I don't want to look at your face anymore. Kangaskhan. Oh, Suicune. Oh, so many legendaries. Oh yeah, and it's a randomizer too. Yeah, but no, let me run away, bro. Come on. You fascist. Let me run away. Thank you. I don't want to run into more Suicunes. I think that's 5 or 6 encounters now in the yellow flowers. Licky Tongue. I have a Licky Tongue in my wallet. You guys want to see it? Damn. Look at that. Ha! Hell yeah, baby. You know why I have this Licky Tongue? So if I go out with a girl, I could be like, hey, you want to make out and do some Licky Tongue? You want some continuous lick? I don't know. I don't know why I have it in my wallet. That's the supposed reason, but I just have it in my wallet for no... Ugh! I shouldn't show my wallet info, right? It has my has all my info. Yes, you are more than welcome to put music on. Damn, Licky Tongue's going at it. Look at that tongue, bro. Jesus Christ, you gotta calm down. She gotta calm down. Sheesh. Thank you, doctor. A few more encounters and we could go to the next piece of grass. Eat grass. Sparrow, get out of my face. Nah, let's see what's in the red grass. I'm in flowers. We also get free items here, which I always... Not always, but I forget about sometimes. What's Douse Drive? Do you play Pokemon, Alonso? If you don't mind me asking. Ladybug, we just rated his cuteness on a tier list today. He is pretty cute. She is pretty cute. Cute Pokemon. I think that's all the encounters in the yellow flowers now. Move, you ping pong moosters. Elixir. Yeah, that's whatever. I'm gonna save here in case I run into a trainer by accident. Do not want to do that. Yeah, this is only the first part. I always forget about that. Stop going on a roller coaster. Rollerblades, I mean, not a roller coaster. Ooh, a Spinarak. A lot of Gen 2 Pokemon. Get on my face, you whammon. It was a whammon Spinarak, so... I'm not being sad. Anyway. That was like perfect timing to reset too. Jesus. I almost never run into them too. That's funny. Well, at least we'll have more chances to run into wild Pokemon and see if they're ice Pokemon. Ice type Pokemon. Alright. Where are they? Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, we're good. We are good. I have it on 175 times speed also, so we could run into Pokemon more often. It's even harder to skip by people, but hey, Pokeball, it's actually a useful item. Okay, like we gotta pass by this guy, who's not hard to pass by, but if you screw up in one way, it's not good. All right, we're gonna save here again just because we ran through all of those people. Oh, a pearl! Wow! Come on, what do we got? What do we got? Bro, I don't want you, Ninkata. I don't want you. We want something better here. Ursaring is cool to look at, though. Video unavailable. Oh, it's my song. It's okay. Oh, oh, oh. Ralts. Yes, we didn't run into many Pokemon in the red grass, so this should be pretty good. You know what I mean? I mean, we already ran into Ralts. I'm dumb. I forgot about that. My hands are so cold. Oh, Victini? Jesus, that's so cool. Victini is a mystical Pokemon, right? Let me run away. Oh, that's cool. I never actually properly used Victini. I think I have a legit legal Victini on my main games. If this was a flying Nuzlocke, imagine doing a flying Nuzlocke, like flying Monolocke, and all you could use is Gyarados. I mean, all you could use is flying Pokemon, and you just use Gyarados. It's like, is it really a flying type? My hands are like freezing. A guy's coming tomorrow to fix the heater. Unpheasant. So many flying type Pokemon. Unpheasant is such an ugly looking Pokemon. It looks like he shat himself. Some designs of Pokemon, I'm like, who approved this? Like, who? You know what I mean? Giraffe. We got a giraffe that we're going to run away from. I'm going to go for like 5 more encounters, and then... The thing is, I don't know if I want to move on without an ice type here. Because, I mean, I've done that before and it was okay, but it's so much riskier. So after we verse the 3 Pokemon that the professor has, which will be the next necessary battle, we go into a route where we have more access to Pokemon. So there's a higher probability of ice Pokemon popping up, right? That being said, those 3 Pokemon that the professor have are level 10s. And going up against 3 level 10s randomized is a bit scary, even with Regice. Like, well, we could die to some wild Pokemon, you know? Like Victini, which is being really annoying right now. Na 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 na. We're just gonna go 4th just so we could heal up, and then we'll come back to this area. Let's go. I wish the items they gave us were randomized too. It's not a big deal though. It would be cool if people actually got into the taxis and drove away. How are cars even ridden here? Ridden? Road? I don't know. English. Difficult language. Wait, can we go through this alleyway? Oh. For a second I was like, what? And then you just see people walking back. They made this game so dumb in some ways. Alright. Let's go to the Pokemon Center. We are not gonna go to the professor right now. Not gonna risk that. Do it. I think we get access to Great Balls after the 2nd gym. But maybe we get it now? Oh my god, we already have access to Great Balls. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm buying 10 of them. Oh, and an antidote. Antidotes are like some of the most important items. Oh, I forgot in this game, poison doesn't actually affect you. So it actually doesn't matter. We're gonna sell the pearl from before. So we could buy... I don't know. We can't use items in battle. But what would be useful to buy? Paralyze heal? I feel like super potion would be useful. Yeah, we only have 1 potion. Yeah, super potion would be useful for route 2, or not route 2, but the next route for something. It should be useful for something. So many Naruto and anime songs. All right, so I'm gonna save here since we bought some stuff in case I run into a trainer by accident. Like that. That was close. And we're gonna go for a few more encounters here. Jesus, Victini. If we don't run into anything, then I will cry. Nanimo, Nanimo. Then we'll do karaoke. What? No, if we don't run into any Pokemon here, new encounters that are ice type especially. Oh my god, my hands are literal like icebergs right now, guys. Oh, let's go to run. Victini actually being a bit annoying. What type is Victini? Psychic grass? I don't know why I feel like it's a grass type. Gyarados is actually like one of the best Pokemon to go up against because his Intimidate doesn't do anything to us. And Zap Cannon is like 4 times, obviously. Jesus, that did a lot of damage. Do we risk the run away? No, we were able to run away all the other time. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it looks like we're not getting any any new encounters. Okay, yeah. I think at this point, I'm gonna run away and just verse the professor. You know what? It is what it is. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. I think I might end stream a bit early today, to be honest, because my hands are literal. Nah, that's a dumb excuse, right? But my hands are like ice cold right now. Oh, let's heal up. I'm gonna verse the professor and win with the Regice. Hopefully. Where is it? There it is. Bro, I know where the professor is. I've reset 98 times. And each time I reset, it's more exciting than the last. Time to put epic music. Epic music. No echo button, though. Should I do climbing? Yeah, this is a different song for once. Instead of the battle music all the time. You're going down, stupid professor. Please don't have insane Pokemon. Please. Please have easy Pokemon. Chinchou. Okay. Chinchou's not bad. Plus eyes Pokemon. The guy that has eyes. Pluses for eyes Pokemon. Jesus. Chinchou's water electric, so... I mean... It's pretty shit. We can't use Zap Cannon on him. We're gonna have to... Icy Wind him. I mean, because of stab damage, it'll do more than Stomp, maybe. What did he use? Are you serious? That is not good. God damn it. I don't want to lose this run. I don't know. Come on, Nuke. Like, come on. How do you keep... Now he uses Supersonic. Like, what am I supposed to do? I literally have no other option here. He's gonna be paralyzed now, or hit himself. Oh, good job. Let's see how much Icy Wind does. Oh my god, that's so bad. I would go with Stomp, but his physical attack is even worse. Let's check out Chinchou's stats. Chinchou's stats suck. How do you suck so much against Chinchou, Nuke? You're a loser. You're a freaking loser, Nuke. You're nothing. You suck. Its defense is lower than its special defense. Maybe Stomp will do more. But we don't have stab damage, and our special attack is higher than our physical attack. He hits himself. Great. I think Icy Wind is the better move here. It's just Icy Wind is halved, but then with stab, it's just cuts it. Okay, we went out of confusion. That's good. Stomp does more for some reason, so we'll go with Stomp again. Icy Wind lowers speed though, but I'm gonna lose to a freaking Chinchou. Are you freaking kidding me? What's up, Nico? This is such a dumb game. And he crits against me. This is so stupid. Flaffy. Oh my god. What do I can't zap cannon it. And I can't move. Bro, just icy win then, please. The run's over. Okay. Make him frozen. If he can't move. He can't move. God damn it! Stupid! Oh, how are you still alive? I'm doing terrible, Nico. We're about to lose the run. This is freaking stupid. Ah. How you doing, Nico? This is our last file of the day. I usually don't get mad, but Jesus Christ, that was so freaking annoying. I should have just gone in the grass to look for another ice type. Honestly, if it's not a Kyurem, Regice sucks. Regice is actually one of the worst freaking legendaries. I don't remember if I copied over the next run. This is literally this is run 100, okay? It was actually unfortunate. Rip Nick too. It was dumb. Like, I don't know. The chances of going up against a Chinchou, a freaking water electric type, that the only two moves I have are ice and electric, and it has some of the worst stats possible, and it chips away at my health like it's like I have no health. Like, look at these sucky stats. Like, he sucks. I don't understand. And you go to Regice, his attack sucks. That I thought Stomp would suck because of that. I tried Icy Wind, Stomp did more damage. Whatever, I guess, whatever. But look at his defenses and his HP. Like, Regice is one of the worst freaking legendaries. Like, some regular Pokemon are better. Especially for Nuzlocke, because I thought he would be tanky enough. He's not even that tanky. Anyway, I gotta calm down. That was just frustrating. It's just very frustrating. I'm gonna rename the files 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for run 101, 100, and 200. Jesus Christ! Unless we get if we get an ice Pokemon right now, I'm gifting 5 subs. I just flat out. I'm gifting 5 subs if we're getting an ice Pokemon. Hell, I'll give 10 subs if we get an ice Pokemon right now. Okay? We beat the first gym and everything. Like, it was so sad. No Regice. Level cap is at 12. And no badges. Sag. I like actually got mad there. Might as well make it 100. I know, right? I want to give 10 subs. I mean, I don't want to give 10 subs. I just hope it's not a stupid, like, ice cream Pokemon. What's up, Serena? I don't get to name any of my rivals in this game. Sag. So dumb. So dumb. I didn't feel like looking over for another ice Pokemon. You know, it's getting so annoying to look for ice Pokemon in the wild. It's not getting, but it is annoying sometimes, you know? And at that point, it was annoying because I had a Reggie Ice and we searched for quite some time. Not as much as we usually do. It was my fault. But honestly, Reggie Ice is not that good. So, whatever. Okay, this is the last possible chance for today. Because I don't have any more files for randomized files for the runs. This is the last run of the day. Celio. We get Celio quite a bit, actually. Let's see what we get. Come on, what are we getting? Oh. I got so excited, bro. I don't know why I get excited like it's gonna be something. That's sad. We're at 100 resets, guys. 100. I'm going crazy. Why, God? Why? Ping pong be gay and horny. Nice. So stupid. Let me move the resets or make them smaller. Jeez. 100 goddamn resets, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. We're at number 1 freaking 100. 100 goddamn resets, bro. Well, that's it for that. Hyped for reset 1,000. Let's go for 420. I know, right? This is what we're gonna do. I'm honestly, my hands are freezing. I think we're gonna, unfortunately, I'm very sorry, but end stream an hour and a half early today. Okay, I'm so sorry. My hands are just freezing like crazy, and I have a lot to edit. I want to get stuff up before January 1st, before the new year. So we're gonna end stream there. We're not gonna do a Pokédex either. I just have a lot of stuff to go through. But look at this. Like, oh, he doesn't even have 600 or more base stats. Come on, Reggie Ice. Come on, Nuke. Expected better of you. Okay, we're gonna end stream there. Let's see. Maybe we'll raid the guy that Prince likes watching, if he's on. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot his name. Yeah, I don't know.
Online.
This is my cousin. My cousin is streaming right now. That's funny. Hey, don't show your information. Okay, we're not gonna raid him. We would if he was playing, but we're gonna end stream there. Thank you all so much for watching. And we'll be back tomorrow for a tier list and some more Pokemon. And hopefully tomorrow goes better. Raid him? I don't know. He's showing his credit card information on screen. I don't want to raid him. I don't want to raid him. Next time, we'll raid him. You need more points? Nah, because if I raid, I feel like I have to talk in the Raiders chat. I don't feel like that right now. My hands are like killing me. I'm gonna have to like go freaking bundle up. No more points for you, Nathan. I'm sorry. But have an amazing one, guys. I hope Jesus is with you all.